And welcome into the Morning Rush on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. Appreciate everybody listening in this morning. John Neighbors, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, all in studio with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your morning this morning. It is a Wednesday. So since it is a Wednesday, not only is it hump day and it's your midway point through the week, but it's also What's Your Beef Wednesday, which we will be doing around 8 o'clock this morning. Giving our beefs, it's our favorite segment because we like to complain, we like to whine on the show, but we don't really have a designated segment to do so.
Yeah.
And you can also get involved on it. That's what makes it great, is that I'm sure, because I mean,
designated day.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I know that everyone thinks their lives are perfect and they never have anything to complain about. But, you know, on some occasions,
Who thinks their life is perfect other than, like, you know, I don't know, Tiger Woods.
Let's say who does have the perfect life? Or from an outsider.
Derek Jeter would be one that would come right to mind.
Derek Jeter, I'm sure, has
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds does pretty well.
George Clooney's isn't bad.
Yeah.
Who's he
Justin
married to?
Timberlake.
Yeah.
Who's
JT.
Clooney married to? Is he married?
Timberlake?
No, Clooney.
George Clooney?
Oh, I don't know.
I think Clooney's just been a bachelor most of the time, too. I mean, he's been kind of that way. I mean, he's just that's the thing is when us guys look at someone having the perfect life.
Yeah.
We look what is it? What we the first thing that we look at to determine the qualification for having a perfect life. It's having a great roster. Is what it is. If you're a guy like
Jeter's number one,
because you brought up Jeter, like is it because of his baseball career, or is it more because of that he's had beautiful women around him all his life?
All of it.
Yeah,
all of it goes together.
Yeah, he's never really been in trouble, had any off the field stuff going on. I mean, it's pretty great
for the rest of us commoners. For the rest of us folks out here that
people that
live, an everyday 8 to 5 life. We got things to beef about.
Yeah,
and today's our day.
That's right. And that's what makes, I think it's a perfect setup, dude, because at Wednesday, on Hump Day, I feel like that's really where the things are at the worst.
We had things from the weekend, obviously, with officiating in the NFL games, maybe the overtime rules that were a burr under your saddle, Razorback basketball. What's really still sticking with you on a Wednesday? What is it now, 3 or 4 days after it's happened that you're still PO'd about?
I mean, I guess unless you're a Saints fan or somebody like that. But now it just turns to work stuff. I feel like most people would probably have issues with. I mean, I know that's where mine's at.
Well,
I have problems with work stuff. All that work stuff.
Very interested to hear this.
No, Tommy, I am just very blessed and fortunate that I have a job.
You're almost in the Jeter category.
Yeah,
right?
almost in the Jeter category. One more step and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But but that's the thing is it makes it funny.
What could be missing?
Yeah, it's just that. But that's what makes it funny is that when we look at people who have perfect lives and people that have it made, as we like to say, we always look towards athletes. We look towards things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just funny because I'm sure that they don't feel like their life is perfect because I don't think anyone's life is perfect. Everyone's got problems. So that's what makes it great about today is that you can vent your frustrations to us and we will listen.
Make your notes, make your calls, and we'll take your calls here in just a bit, and we'll play part psychologist here.
Yeah.
We'll walk you through some of this morning.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. We'll make sure we do that. So, but we have a lot to talk about today. Obviously, we'll have some quick hitting headlines and really break it all down. Tonight's Arkansas playing Missouri in basketball in Bud Walton Arena.
8 p.m.
Yay.
Which is fine for a lot of people. Not for two guys that get up, before 5 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
But I was going to go to I really contemplated on going to this game, but the 8 o'clock thing, man, if it was 6 or 7, probably be there.
That's the thing is if it's a Saturday game. Something
got a couple tickets I got to give away today,
Who are you giving away?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what makes it tough. It's just you got to have it on television, though. I mean, that's why it's there.
Oh, I get it. I know why, and I'm grateful that I can watch the game on TV. Just seems like the nights I can go, my schedule's freed up. I can go like a Wednesday night.
Yeah,
it's always at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's always those late.
And that's not a beef. It's just
reality.
It's just the reality of you want your cake and eat it too. You're gonna have some 8 o'clock games. Your cake is that $42-44 million you get a year from the SEC office. So Just the way it is.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing against. I'm sure they
I
love
just
the
know that
fans, but
if you live in Russellville or you live in Hot Springs, I'm not even drawing a big circle. Forget Little Rock, or if you're listening in Camden or Fordyce or El Dorado this morning, or that makes it impossible to do without spending the night. Well, I mean, if you're like most of us common folk, you got to be at work Thursday morning. You can't take a vacation day to go see the basketball team play very often.
Yeah, especially played Missouri when
exactly
not like a big marquee game.
I mean, you when you have an 8:00 game, the circle in our state, the geographic circle of where people are going to come from, is much smaller.
Yeah,
and that's why these Saturday games, I think, are going to be really important. I heard Derek Ruskin on with Ty and Phil yesterday talking about Anderson's future, and I thought he made an interesting point about the Saturday attendance. What gets coaches fired? It's always attendance. Attendance is always up at the top of the list, and what leads to poor attendance is losing, lack of confidence. We can keep going down that list.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's games like tonight that the powers that be should really look at. It's how well do you draw? How big a crowd shows up? I thought this was an excellent point. Show up on Saturday games, the ones that are left. So interesting to see what kind of crowd's there tonight. I'd be surprised if it's larger than 12 or 13,000 for sure.
Yeah,
which is still a good college basketball crowd.
Right.
But that's not the standard at Arkansas.
Right. And this is the thing too, is that there's not really a whole lot of Saturday home games for Arkansas.
Nope.
I mean, just looking at the rest of the schedule, Mississippi State, that's a Saturday home game.
It's a good game.
You got Texas A&M.
Good. I mean, that's a game that usually will draw, but A&M's not a great team. Might be your best chance to see a home win as far as conference games.
Yeah, and then you have, is it Ole Miss? Yeah, which they're ranked right now, so that could end up.
They'll bring some fans.
Yeah, that'll be right there, and then after that, Alabama. So all your home games on Saturdays are towards the end of the season. You don't have any for a while right now, and so I think
they may be good.
Well, that's
or maybe bad.
Yeah, because if it's at some point in time, because listen, if Arkansas loses to Missouri tonight, and they drop,
it's going to be a while for the win.
Yeah, I mean they drop to 1-5 if they lose tonight. They'll lose to Texas Tech on the road. I know it's not a conference game, but they'll lose that game on the road, and then they return back with Georgia, which could be a win, could not be a win. I can't guarantee anything with this team right now. Doesn't matter who they play. Georgia's not a great team, not a bad team, not a great team though. They're sitting at 9-8. So, but I'm not going to guarantee Arkansas beats them. Then they go on the road to LSU. Yeah. They're not winning that one. They return trip to Vanderbilt at home. You thought South Carolina might have been one of those games that Arkansas could get a victory. Doesn't look that way either. I mean, there's just a lot of games going on right now that Arkansas doesn't have a lot of opportunities to take advantage and win. And that's why it was so critical in losing that Florida and LSU game at home, 2 games you should have won, and why it's put you behind the 8 ball right now. I mean, you are legitimately looking at Arkansas only having 3 conference wins by mid-February. I mean, that's just unbelievable, but it's the reality.
Yeah.
And, with the way that the season has gone so far, and obviously people just being so disappointed, it just, I don't know, it just makes it so much tougher on Mike Anderson, and really to defend Mike Anderson and saying, you know what, anyone who's being critical of him right now, I can't disagree. I can't sit here and say you're bad or you have a bad argument if someone has a problem with Mike Anderson and the performance of this team this year. I just can't.
Yeah.
Because we know that inexperience is there. We know that Daniel Gafford is a bona fide NBA player. At least he has the upside to be. I know he's been struggling in the past few games. But you have some pieces where you should be at least be able to win some games. And right now, this looks like Mike Anderson's worst team, which is hard to believe. But right now, it's looking.
You just shouldn't be in this boat after 8 years. And and we understand the reasons why. No seniors, like you went through it.
Yeah,
your classes are out of balance. It shouldn't be that way in year 8. We've always counted on Mike with his back to the wall, comes out swinging, he usually lands some punches. About time to start landing some punches, Mike.
Yeah. You're backed up into a corner.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually when you've been able to perform your best.
You're getting beat on a little bit right now.
How do you respond?
Mm-hmm.
How do you punch back?
Yeah.
That's going to be fascinating to see, and it starts tonight with Missouri. But we're going to talk about this. We're going to get into a lot of more great storylines and, of course, get to your phone calls. 877-377-6963 is the number to call in on a What's Your Beef Wednesday. We'll get to that and a lot more on the other side of the break. Stay with us, folks.
the voice of Razorback fans across Arkansas. The Morning Rush continues next.
When you drive a Toyota Tundra or Tacoma, weekdays and weekends are two entirely different beasts. While an awe-inspiring view on a weekday might sound something like this.
Hon, there's a raccoon going through our trash again.
An awe-inspiring view on the weekend sounds a little more like this.
Whoa, Dad, this is crazy!
And while a bold adventure on the weekdays might be something like,
All right, kids, time to drive 3 hours to your swim meet.
bold adventures on the weekend are closer to something like weekday,
Oh, cool, a standing desk.
weekend.
Oh, cool, a ski boat!
You get the idea. Make your weekends more exciting than the days before them in the virtually indestructible Toyota.
Not off to the start that we want to, but at the same time, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and I really believe this team will continue to get better. Playing against a Mizzou team that's probably is trying to get wins just like we are, and we've got to be able to defend the home court. They won a big game at A&M. And, of course, with Kunzo's team, they're going to come in, they're going to get after you defensively and rebound the basketball with Tillman inside. The Geist kid is playing better. Whereas our team, we need to get into we need to play a total good game. That's what I'm looking for our guys. I think we've been trying to win just with offense, and you can't just win with offense in our league. It's got to be a defensive effort as well. And so we've got to continue to get better in a lot of different areas. I think taking care of the basketball is going to be one of them. We've got to take care of the basketball. We've got to be able to defend. We talked about getting off to a good start, and we started the game off right off the game with the turnover, and you can't do that, especially on the road. But I look for our guys to come out and play with a much greater sense of urgency, playing against a Mizzou team that, obviously they border this. It's a border game where the states touch, so it's going to be a big game for us and a big game for them as well.
Mike Daniels just in here, and he was pretty humble and took a lot of blame for the loss the other day, said he needs to play better. What are you seeing from Daniel, and what kind of response do you expect from him?
Well, what you're seeing, and that's the thing with the inexperienced team, is that Daniel's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. I mean, he's played so well. And as that attention, 2 and 3 people around, our spacing hasn't been the greatest. If our spacing is good enough, then you're going to see those guys kind of be the recipients of some good passes for him. But they're coming at him. They're saying, hey, them other guys are going to have to beat you. And so our other guys are going to have to step up and make shots and finish off plays and take care of the basketball. I think he's giving us everything he can. But that's what happens. Like I said, when you go from not being on the scouting report to the top of the scouting report. And so we know he can play a lot better. We had too many turnovers, I thought, Bob. And then on that, the momentum plays. We cut the ball game to 40, I think it was 49-43. And we had the ball a couple of times. Well, we got to come down, and now we got to execute. And because I didn't think they had an answer for Dan if we continue to have patience and get the ball in. And but I thought we sped up and played too fast. And then, of course, Ole Miss took advantage of that. But I think with Dan, we got to continue to he's got to be the centerpiece. He's got to be able to touch the ball, even if he don't shoot it. I think he's a willing passer. He's not a black hole. And those other guys got to be able to play off of him. And that, to me, is the execution part that we've got to get better at.
Like Chaney in both starts doesn't play nearly as well as off the bench. I mean, what do you do with that other forward spot?
Well, we just got to keep trying it. Keep trying it, whether it be him or even Gabe. We saw Gabe come in the second half, and I thought Gabe gave us an attacking forward. I thought he was really active, trying to get the ball inside to Daniel on the glass. We just got to keep brother-in-lawing it, I think, with those guys.
Yeah, like you said, you guys have been trying to win with just offense, and Daniel said the defense has not been good. They've just kind of been giving baskets. How do you guys fix that, and are you confident you can fix it?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can fix it. I think it's a matter of getting all the guys on the same page. You got to talk on defense. Our defense is geared toward putting pressure on people, and I think we've been just letting people run the offense. I really, really have. I think we kind of been playing on our heels, but we've got to be a little bit more aggressive. And, we got to be able to be in rotation. Some things penetration is going to take place. We got to be able to fix it. I mean, in the first half, they got like maybe 3 or 4 screen rows, and so the offside help. Where guys are hugging the man's on the offside. That's got to be a lot better, and we've been better throughout the year. So I just think it's a wake up call for our guys, because our defense again is what we got to hang our hats on, and then as your defense picks up, then I think it takes you to another level on offense as well.
I guess in your 8 years, you'd never lost more than 3 in a row. Just kind of, 1, how do you handle it? And 2, how do you kind of convince a team they're not in like a free fall where it just keeps happening?
Well, I've talked about patience throughout this year, Nate, and even as we played in the Ole Miss game.
Morning Rush.
Feel it's only fair and only right that we have this song playing in to what our quick-hitting headlines are going to be, and they are presented by Williams Tractor.
Yeah, Williams Tractor's got the Kick the Tires event going on right now. Williams Tractor's in Fayetteville and in Berryville. The Kick the Tires event means great in-the-store deals and financing options on New Holland equipment. You can choose from tractors, hay and forage equipment, harvesting, seeding, spraying, even construction equipment right now with great deals. It all ends March 31st, so hurry in, check out the savings during the Kick the Tires event at Williams Tractor in Fayetteville and in Berryville.
Of course, having Enter Sandman play is to say that yesterday, in a quick-hitting headline to get into, there's a few new baseball players who have been elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame, one of them being, of course, Mariano Rivera, who's the closer there, who's a lot. Of course, it's funny. Like, is it just me, or does it seem like every time there's some type of big accomplishment or someone inducted to the Hall of Fame, there's always controversy in baseball? Because some people are saying that because he's a closer getting into the Hall of Fame, and that the fact that he was the first unanimous Hall of Fame inductee, like, people are just thinking it's controversial. I'm like, he's a great player.
Who thinks it's controversial?
Because he's a closer. They say that the closer should be unanimous.
If it's so controversial, why is he the first unanimous player elected?
I don't know. That's what I'm just saying. It's weird how that ends up, but that's why.
See, I mean, everybody's got something that's controversial anymore.
But that's why.
How is this even controversial?
It just seems like baseball's even worse.
Yeah.
Like
they got all these unwritten rules that you don't know about. You know.
Hey, I still think that baseball with steroids was the best type of baseball.
Do you really care about the Baseball Hall of Fame anymore and who gets in?
No, I don't.
Is that a big deal to you? How about you, Ty?
I'm not a huge baseball fan.
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah, more so than anything.
Like Phil will talk about it today.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a big deal to Phil.
First tent, but
I think most of us in the 43 and down crowd, I got to include myself, it's not a big deal, who's in the Hall of Fame. I mean, because most of the players you admired, grew up watching, you've either moved on, or if you really care about them, you might care if that particular player gets in. But
yeah, hey, listen, I'm of the belief that baseball was better when they had steroids in it, and I'm not kidding.
I think there should be league-administered steroids.
Bring it back, because that's when baseball was a lot more fun, at least in my opinion. So congratulations to Mariano Rivera, as well as Edgar Martinez, Roy Halladay, and Mike Mussina. So let's go to the phone lines, as we got Dave in Fort Smith. What's going on, Dave?
Hey, guys, good morning.
Morning.
Want to call in my beef today.
Okay, bring it on.
Mike Anderson. Well, guys, listen, I came up during the Eddie Sutton, Nolan Richardson era. I had season tickets all through those. Never missed a game, so my expectations are pretty high there, But my problem with Mike Anderson is that every year it's the same old scenario. He schedules about 10 or 12 patches at the end of the year so he can win 10 or 12 games, and then he wins only half or less the rest of his games, usually. I think he does just kind of enough to keep his job. And my second beef is this team that we have this year. I'm just so tired of everybody giving them a pass because they're young and inexperienced. We've got a coach that's been here for 8 years, and if we've got a team that's young and inexperienced, it's because they haven't been developed and he hasn't recruited well. And I'm just tired of us losing players to Florida and Kentucky and places like that. That's not the kind of basketball program we ought to have here. And I know Mike's a good guy, and I really do respect that. But I say, hey, guys, it's about time to move on. Let him coach at the boys' club or somewhere, But that's my beef.
All right, well, appreciate it, Dave. Obviously coming in hot with his early with his
boys' club,
with his beef, but I think he. You know what? Here's the thing. I think a lot of people feel the same way Dave does.
I think Dave is a spokesperson for a broad. I don't know if it's a majority. I think it's a big percentage, and it may be turning to a majority. I'm going to tell you, a loss to Missouri tonight, a loss to Texas Tech. This losing streak continues on, and I think it is certainly a majority of the fan base that is just fatigued. Mm-hmm. And I think they feel like Dave. They think he's a nice guy. They like Mike. They respect Mike, but it's just time for change.
Yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of people are at.
Tired
right
of
now.
the same old, same old.
Yep, seeing the same scenarios play out. I just think, I agree.
I think that's what we took from Dave's call there.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't think I'd recommend the boys' club, but I get where your frustrations lie there, Dave.
Yeah, he will still get a job somewhere else, but it won't be at the boys' club. We'll hire. We'll hire than that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Melanie's in Harrison. What's going on, Melanie?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing
Good.
great.
How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. I'm free. I'm not cold. My car's nice and warm, but the roads are horrible.
How is it in Harrison? I mean, it's wet in the River Valley, but not frozen. So.
Well, the way people are driving, they're acting like it's frozen. I don't really think it's frozen, but they are saying like it's frozen.
Creeping. Everything's creeping this morning, huh?
There you go.
And I kind of creeped out of bed. I didn't. It's one of those days you didn't really want to put your feet on the floor. It's so cold.
No.
Well, listen, my main beef is with the NFL. If they don't make the Rams and the Saints replay that game, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed. They've already got a lawsuit filed to replay the game.
Now, do you think that's really going to happen? Do you think that's a realistic option?
I don't know. You guys tell me. You're the professional.
In my professional opinion, that's not even an option. I don't even know what judge's order could make that happen.
Well,
okay.
It would be interesting, though, to see if a judge, because, listen, a judge in New Orleans, a district judge or a federal judge, it could make life a little bit harder on the NFL. It would be interesting to see if this drug on a little bit and there was an injunction that actually got put in place and forced the Super Bowl back.
Yeah, and the NFL has to appeal if it's ruled in favor by the judge. So, I mean, it's not like they just say, you're so funny. No, like you have to.
He's a judge.
He's a judge. You have to go through the legal system. So, yeah, it'd be funny to see.
Well.
Okay, well, then I have a question for you.
Okay.
I'm not a huge basketball follower. I like it. I like basketball. I'll watch a game or two. But if they were to fire Mike Anderson, is there another coach out there that they're looking at? Is there another Jay Wright or Coach K out there that might be available?
Well, at least you don't have high standards, you know.
Well, I'm just saying as an example, okay?
All right, let me give you some examples. You just look around the SEC. You look at Kermit Davis. You look at Will Wade. Those names may not jump off the page and excite you, but they're getting the job done in this league. This league has been able to hire very good up-and-coming coaches and established, I don't know if they're Hall of Fame type coaches, but on their way to that.
Yeah.
You know, the Frank Martins and the Ben Howlands and the Rick Barnes type guys. I still think Arkansas is the top 3 or 4 program in this league. And I think this is a very attractive job if and when it does come open.
And it also depends on how much Arkansas would be willing to pay for a basketball coach. I don't think it'd be a problem. I think I'd back up the money truck, get somebody that'll win. More of the Morning Rush coming up next.
What? Defensive side. I think there are some things that we're doing well. The bright spot in that game, you look at Keyshawn Embry coming off the bench. I thought he gave us some quality minutes. I thought Gabe gave us some really good minutes. And so now if you get some of those guys that are starting out to playing at the level they're capable of playing, I think we see Isaiah is really starting to – I think he's starting to play with that pop that you got to play with. And I think that's even with our team. We got to play with a little more pop, a little more energy. I think that's got to be – we're an energy team. And once that energy is injected from a defensive standpoint, then we're in attacking mode offensively as well.
You got a young team, but you're an experienced coach. I looked up. You actually had a 4-game losing streak at UAB. You guys went to the NCAA tournament your first year at Mizzou. You had a 4-game losing streak. You guys
I did?
I
didn't know that.
It's on. And you guys won 18 games. You didn't go to the NIT or whatever, but you still won 18 games. So how can an experienced coach like yourself help navigate a young team through a rough patch like this?
I think you don't panic. I think that's the biggest key. You don't panic. And if they don't see you panic, they're going to be okay. I think what we do works. And we've seen that, early on. Now we just got to be able to put it together here, and nothing like some good winning would take care. But I think get in the gym and continue to work and continue to believe in each other. I think one thing about these guys continue to believe in one another, and we eventually go with a hump. We're becoming a team, and there's a learning curve. You're not going to see Mason Jones go 1 for 10. I mean, he was 1 for 10, and that's one of our leading scorers in conference play. So we got to have some more guys click on some of the cylinders that can help us offensively. And then defensively, I think we really got to dig into the trenches and become one of those teams that, you know what, if we don't score, then you don't score. I think that's what you got to have the mindset. Get stingy on it.
They lost Jonte Porter before the season. How do you think they've adjusted to playing without him? And I know you know the family. Just kind of what are your thoughts on him, not being able to play this year?
Obviously, when it took place, obviously my thoughts and prayers were with him and his family. You think about Michael, Jonte, and great family. But at the same time, I think Cuonzo, you got to play with the hand that you dealt with. And so, with that being said, you got to formulate and create that to be that team that you got this year. And I think he got some young guys that are pretty good, and very much like us. You have Geis, who's running the show. You got Big Tillman, who's down there. Perrier seemed like he's been there for 5 years. So they got some quality pieces. The transfer from Illinois, who's one of the top shooting three-point percentage-wise, I think, in our league. So they've got a collection of players that can shoot the basketball, and hopefully we won't let them shoot as much as they want to. We got to come out with a sense that, I always talk about that sense of urgency, but I think really from a defensive standpoint, come in and establishing the tempo we want.
They're the top three-point shooting team in the league. What kind of pressure does that put on your perimeter defense? How big a key will that be Wednesday night?
I think what's got to be important, we got to be there on the shot. We got to be there when they catch it, when they catch the ball and ready to shoot, make them drivers and make them penetrate.
This is the Morning Rush.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush. It is a What's Your Beef Wednesday, and it is presented by the 906 Lounge.
Yeah, 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. It opened last Saturday. I have not been there yet. I saw a preview before it, but I hadn't been there since they opened for business on Saturday night. I cannot wait to get downtown to the 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. A lot of great pictures I saw on Facebook and on social media this weekend of people really having a great time. If you want to upgrade your evening out, the 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge is the place to be, way beyond what you might expect. Everything from the time you walk through the front doors has been designed to impress you. Top-shelf wines and liquors, world-class cigars, comfortable, oversized leather chairs. You are not going to believe the comfort of the furniture, the quality, and the money that has been invested in your comfort with their furniture. It is incredible at the 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge. Stop in and see them. You worry about, hey, I don't want to leave smelling like, I don't smoke cigars. I don't want to leave smelling like that. Don't worry. They got an air replacement system. A lot of places filter the air. Not there. They replace it every 4 minutes with a air replacement system that they have invested in for your comfort as well. So stop by, see them. They're on the avenue at 906 Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. It's 906 Cocktail and Cigar Lounge, and see what all the excitement is about.
I know that we're going to give our beefs on the Morning Rush here around 8 o'clock this morning, but to give a little tease to what my beef is going to be, I don't want to sit here and talk about it a whole lot, but I do CrossFit now, and I hurt every morning that I do CrossFit. And I did 180 lunges yesterday, and I'm dying.
My question would be why?
Well, because I want to look sexy.
180 is not going to get it done.
No, but maybe by this time next year when I've got 181, maybe, just maybe it'll happen. But it's just
lunges are the worst.
I'm telling you, man.
I'm telling you, of all the things I do at the gym, like today when the trainer says, all right, we're going to do lunges today.
I'm like, feeling sick.
I'm like, no, we're not. I'm paying for this.
You do the lunges.
No, I'm out.
Yeah.
They hurt my knees. We'll go run another 5 miles on the treadmill. We'll do anything but do lunges.
Yeah. I mean, it's just killer. And it just when I'm doing these
and
workouts.
And weighted lunges are the worst where, hey, here, hold these two 25 or 40-pound or whatever dumbbells in your hand while you do said lunges.
Yeah.
Prescribed lunges.
It's all bad. And it just makes me wonder that these people that are all into fitness and that are, every single day, multiple times a day, it's like, okay, congratulations, I'm proud of you. But it's not just that they're doing that, it's the way they're eating.
Who are these psychos that go to the gym 2 or 3 times a day?
I don't know.
Psycho.
And who's the people that not only do that, but eat plants and like flaxseed? It's just I don't understand.
His name is Tom Brady.
Like how do you enjoy your life
you don't?
that way? Because to me, food
you got to
is
change
so
what you
enjoyable.
describe or what you define as enjoyment. That's the problem with all of us. These people are actually doing it right, but the difference is we involve food. All of us do. We involve food with every outing, every social event.
Food's great.
Is based. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone
it's like
loves
our
food.
reward system or
Yeah.
something. We've got it all messed up.
What's wrong with that?
I'm
No,
just
there's
saying
nothing
that's
wrong
why
with
we all look the way we look around
Yeah.
this world.
It's like, and to those that are dedicated, power to you. But
I
love
don't have
food
the
too much,
discipline.
man.
I don't have the self-discipline,
No.
nor am I probably going to gain it anytime soon. Because I'm like you. I want to have a cocktail. I want to have a rib. Give me an extra scoop of the mac and cheese. I think mashed potatoes are good for you, you know.
Yeah, but Tommy, you look good no matter what, right?
Well,
so it doesn't matter about the rest.
listen.
Who do you have to impress?
Well, my wife, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Good save.
Yeah. Hey, Workman's Travel Center. There's a place you can get something good to eat, like chicken strips and corn dogs and burritos, and they got a good breakfast for you this morning at the Ozark Mountain Grill. Try the Piggy Mac Burger. This will make you look good. 2 half-pound patties, pulled pork, bacon, and cheddar cheese on a sweet bun. That's a perfect lunch today. Hey, this is the pit stop you want to make. It's Workman's Travel Center. Exit 24 off I-49 in Rudy. Hey, stop there on your way to the game tonight. Ozark, exit 35 off I-40, and exit 78 in Lowell.
Was kind of shattered by the losing streak. Where do you think your all's confidence level is, and maybe how do you get it back up to where it was earlier in the season?
I mean, as you can see, our confidence level is pretty low right now because of the way we're playing. I mean, we're playing last game, we played with some fight, but we didn't play with that much fight that we needed. I mean, and our confidence level is going to get back up, but we just got to, come out and play the basketball that, we played at the beginning of the year and not this basketball that we've been playing.
You're still a young guy, but you're one of the older guys on the team. What sort of leadership role do you play to help the guys get their confidence back up?
I mean, I've become more of a vocal leader on the floor because, I used to be quiet all the time. I used to try to lead by example, but now I have to become more vocal because, some of the young guys, they kind of get down on themselves when they, make mistakes in the game. I mean, we can't just, feel bad for ourselves most of the time, especially during game time because, we need all our attention on the game and all our attention on executing plays down the stretch and on defense. It's such things like that. And, I just, go up to them, give them a motivational talk or something to try to get them back in the game because, we need every single one of us.
Ole Miss was doubling, even triple teaming you. Just what can you do and what can your teammates do to get you open against defenses like that?
No, the main thing I could have did, I could have just, moved around more instead of trying to post up and have my back to the basket. I could have been setting screens, off the ball screens or ball screens for the guard. I mean, it's just that I was staying in one spot too much during the game, and I was crowding up the lane. And, other guys can do basically what they can do to get me open. They can screen for me. They can come off my screens, and I'll be open for that. Or, they can just move around and keep the paint, from being cluttered. And if I get the ball inside on the post, they can just cut to the basket, find the easy lane to the hoop, and just get an easy layup.
Is it frustrating you're not getting more shots? I mean, like more games like what you did against LSU?
It's never frustrating because, every dog has a day, and Ole Miss wasn't my day. I mean, I got to come out and play every day, but it's just I couldn't find the flow of the game I wanted, and it just never came. And so I tried to do other things to help the team, like rebounding or blocking shots.
Is the Morning Rush.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush. Appreciate everybody listening in this morning. We're going to have a little fun on the show. We have fun all the time, but specifically with this segment and the segments to come, because we mentioned a little bit in the quick-hitting headlines and talking with Melanie and Harrison about this storyline, which it's more of a fun storyline to talk about, and this has to deal with the NFL playoffs, and we all know and discussed about the New Orleans Saints and their game against the Rams, where it might have been one of the most egregious missed calls you'll ever see by an official, even Tommy Kraft, the official man. He's admitted it.
All you people that come at me with your throwing knives and spears at me, they say, "Oh, you always defend the refs. No matter what, you defend." Even Tommy Kraft, even I could not defend that.
Yeah, it was just so egregious, and in that part of the game, and in the NFC Championship game,
I've never seen a bigger officiating mistake in a bigger moment.
Yeah, it's hard to find one. And then there's still time left, and we all know about how the game ended. Anyways, attorney Frank D'Amico. Hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Actually, I don't care. He says that he has filed a civil lawsuit in New Orleans on behalf of Saints season ticket holders to make the right call and bring both teams back to replay the end of the game.
Yeah.
Now, this is a storyline that it's not necessarily surprising that people have reacted this way, because you felt like with all the news coming out and everyone diving into how Roger Goodell could step in technically and fix the problem. And I mean, everyone's just trying to find any loophole that they can jump through to try to get this fixed, which instead of just moving on and say, hey, crap happens, it sucks, maybe there can be something done to make sure it doesn't happen again. Instead of having that mindset, it's got to be the other way around.
Before you just laugh and say, it's a funny publicity stunt by this attorney, and I do think it is that. It is a publicity stunt by this attorney in New Orleans to get himself a little fame, and in a moment where who in that market, who anywhere, is going to disagree with him?
Not a soul, unless you're a Rams fan, maybe.
Yeah, unless you're a fan of the Los Angeles Rams. Nobody's disagreeing with what he's saying. Even some Ram fans are saying, he's right. But before you just say, it's a publicity stunt, there's a judge down there that would like to be popular too. And I don't know if they elect judges that are appointed, but there's a federal judge there. What's he got to lose? It's a lifetime appointment. Be the judge that stands in the way of the Super Bowl, because all it does is, if a judge says, no, we're gonna stop things here, we're gonna file an injunction, and we're going to grant that injunction, and a judge goes through with it, what would happen with the Super Bowl could be postponed, delayed. Yeah. Now, I don't think these things will happen. The NFL's got, busloads of lawyers to make sure these kind of things don't become a roadblock. But don't just laugh it off like, a judge couldn't, they call him a judge for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what will happen.
I don't either.
But there will be somebody that would like to be elected governor or like to be moved on to the next circuit court, or that's something that they'll use it for personal gain.
It's politics, man.
Exactly.
It's politics. We all know it is.
And it's New Orleans politics.
That's right. So, and I agree with you on all
the spiciest kind.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you on all of that. I guess the funny story in all of this, though, is that if this judge or whichever judge ruled in favor of this, the NFL legally would have to have a formal appeal.
Yeah, they'd have to answer.
Yeah, there's no okay, we'll just ignore that's going down there.
We're
going
to play the Super Bowl anyway.
No, this is the United States justice system. I mean, this is what you have to do and what you'll have to do it with. So obviously that's a funny story, and it's funny to see where it'll play out, and if it actually does end up happening, how funny it would be.
This is a much bigger stage, and the stakes are much higher. But we have seen this here in our state at the high school level, where lawsuits have been filed, judges have issued injunctions, state football playoff games have been delayed for a week or two. And I'm not talking like, this happened in 1981. I'm talking like this happened like 6-7 years ago. So to say this would be unprecedented, well, it would be unprecedented at this level. It would interrupt or interfere with the Super Bowl. But I don't ever see a scenario. But we've seen this stuff in sports, and we're seeing it more and more at the high school level, the prep level, where someone doesn't like the outcome of a ruling on a player's eligibility or a call on the field. And there was an instance in Arkansas where there was a player ruled ineligible, and it led to some lawsuits that delayed an entire classification's football playoffs.
Just a couple of years ago,
Not that many years ago in our state. Now, I know that's a much different level, and the stakes aren't nearly as high, but wouldn't it be interesting to see, just fantasize for a minute with me, if this went through and they actually had to get back on the field and replay the end of that game?
The final, minute and 38 or whatever it would be.
What can of worms, what Pandora's box would that open?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. We kind of laugh about it and kind of, that's a good topic for the show today. I don't think we're that many years away, 10, 15, where this stuff has more teeth to it. I mean, this is life. Life's not fair. You don't always get the proper outcome. You don't always get the equitable solution in life. And I think as you have another generation of people in authority, whether it's judges, whether it's more attorneys willing to file these type of lawsuits, as the next generation comes up, I don't think this is going to be as unique a headline down the road as we think it might be right now.
I mean, the way that it's all developed over time and how much more serious it gets, it seems, year in and year out, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this ended up being something in the next few years that turns into a really serious matter. Because, it's, like you mentioned and had examples of justice system being used for athletics and things that were considered unfair or against the rules or whatever that were used to the benefit of a lot of different people. So, yeah, it's happened. And again, I don't think anything will come from this ruling or this civil lawsuit that's being filed by this attorney in New Orleans. I don't think anything major will come from it.
Steve brings up a good point as he emails into the show. Hey, would the judge's order require them to use the same officiating crew for that final replay? If it got to the point where you were on the field, would they demand that a different field judge or side judge be assigned?
What if he blew another call?
That's what I'm saying. You can get down this can of worms here, this rabbit trail, and go forever.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. You see the best in the world. I think we'd still agree that the officials working the conference championship games, these are picked by position. These aren't crews. This is the best field judge, the best side judge are picked to work conference championships in the Super Bowl. So you're theoretically amongst the best 3 in the NFL. I think that would qualify you as one of the best in the world at what you do.
Of course.
And an egregious mistake was made. But yet, and you know who you are out there. You're going to go to a high school basketball game on Thursday night or Friday night or whatever night's next. And you're going to jump up and down. You're going to scream. You're going to make a fool of yourself, yelling at an official, making $100 to do 2 games because he should get it all right or she should get them all right. But yet the best in the world is still going to, I mean, that's the thing. These are human beings involved. Just like kids miss shot and coaches miss play calls, even the best in the world make huge gaffes, huge mistakes. But yet you're going to go to your local high school and act like an idiot on Friday night, yelling at an official who's not one of the best in the world. I just think it's a good example, and I'm not using this as a soapbox. Oh, I am, actually. But, I mean, my point is the best in the world, it's human beings. We're never going to be able to come up with a system that eliminates human error.
No. And I think that there's been some changes that have been made to get to that point, like having replay and trying to get calls right.
We try to eliminate it. We try to marginalize it. And I think you're going to see replay brought into high school sports at some point. We're already seeing it in high school football. In some states, not in Arkansas, but in other states. Technology's making that more readily available. I mean, nobody wants anything but to get it right. And I promise you the official that missed this call hasn't probably slept much since then.
No.
You just want to get it right.
Yeah. Well, and everybody wants to. I mean,
but sometimes in life, it just doesn't happen that way.
No. And you
can file a lawsuit and you can try to get publicity as an attorney, but at the end of the day, life's not fair.
No. And you want to be angry not at your team for not making plays, or not at your coaching staff, or not at your fan base. You don't want to be mad at what you think is on your side. You want to be mad at some third party. And
it can't be my team's fault. It can't be my coach's fault.
No.
It can't be my kid's fault. It's got to be someone else's fault.
Yeah, you got to find some.
Let's blame the ref.
You got to find somewhere to pass the buck.
In this case, you can blame the ref. But
yeah.
The point is, you're never going to get rid of human errors until you get rid of humans. And I don't see how you're going to do that.
No, I don't see either.
Unless you want to put robots out there, and guess what? Robots are going to make mistakes too.
It's never going to be perfect. You just have to accept that.
Players miss shots.
That's what I'm saying.
Kickers miss field goal attempts. Quarterbacks miss passes.
Sports are imperfect.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's why it makes it so great, is that they are imperfect. So, but this storyline itself, it's really caught a lot of attention from a lot of different people, and for a lot of good reasons, is because it's a fascinating thing. But when I started hearing this, and we'll talk about this throughout the show as well, it made me wonder, you as Razorback fans, if attorney Frank Diamaco decided that he was going to file a civil lawsuit on your behalf, Razorback fans, of a game in your history to be replayed, or a play to be replayed, or a season to be replayed because you felt cheated by either the officials, by the NCAA, by the opposing team, by anybody. If you felt cheated by somebody, which game, which moment, which season, which play, which would it be?
Oh, man.
So I wanted to kind of play off of this and just ask you, if you could have a civil lawsuit filed, we already have a lot of tweets about this too. If you could have a civil lawsuit filed to have a game or season or a play replayed in Razorbacks history, what would it be? Well,
based on the officiating errors, or based on player errors, based on boneheaded coaching decisions, based on what?
Well, let me bring up an example. Just because obviously the officials is the easiest one that people have brought. But just let me bring up an example.
Put a bullseye on their back.
2011 Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
The fact that those players for Ohio State got to play in that game.
That didn't have anything to do with the officials.
No, it has nothing to do with the officials.
Yeah.
So, it can be anything.
Yeah.
But I just want to know where their mind goes first, because I'm sure we're going to have some great.
Can we go back? What year was it? 2012? Or can we get Perry Costello out behind the home plate in the College World Series?
Exactly. Yes, another great example.
Could we do that?
Another great example. Can you get a different crew other than Mark Curls in 2009 against Florida?
Okay.
So, I mean, you can build up on it. So I just want to know everyone's thoughts and opinions.
I'm telling you, there's some great listeners out there in their 50s and 60s that probably have some great Southwest Conference stories.
Oh, I bet.
Them cheating Texas refs. That's what,
Oh, yeah. And I want to hear those. I want to hear what you have to say. So call in 877-377-6963 or tweet us at #HitThatLineAR for your responses. It is What's Your Beef Wednesday, and it is presented by Washington Regional.
Yeah, Washington Regional Medical Center, committed to providing stroke care that aligns with the latest research-based treatment guidelines. Studies show patients recover better when these guidelines are consistently followed. Washington Regional, proud to be recognized by the American Heart Association for achievement in the Get With It guidelines and Target Stroke Quality programs. It's just one more way Washington Regional is working to improve health care for you and your family. Get more details at wregional.com.
The most honest sports radio show in Arkansas. The Morning Rush continues next.
It is that time of the year, New Year's resolutions and taxes. Is your New Year's resolution to purchase your first home, or even upgrade to a larger home, or apply that tax refund towards a down payment? Hi, this is Matt Fowler with OneTrust Home Loans. We are here to make those dreams a reality. Picture it now. Would your dream home have a large wraparound porch? Or for those nature lovers, a home with acreage for you and your family to create lifelong memories? Or that perfect home in town? Whatever your dream consists of, OneTrust Home Loans.
Yeah, Daniel, the defense, I guess that's the LSU game. What are the lapses that you're seeing, and how do you correct them?
It's just that we just got to protect, the inside. When teams get in on the inside, against us, it's automatic. And it's like we have no resistance on the inside, especially, with big guys like me. I'm supposed to be blocking shots and stuff. I need to step up my defense. For instance, like on ball, and especially ball screen defense, we need to, fix that also. There's a lot of things that we need to fix, and there's a lot of things that we know we need to fix, and it's going to be fixed. But it's just, it's a process.
Yeah, Daniel, I meant to ask you right before he did, but does it surprise you that you guys are giving up the most points per game in the league? I mean, are you aware of that? And is it those factors you talked about that flow into that?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise us at all because, the type of defense that we've been playing the past couple of games, we just basically been giving people the game. We've been spotting them 10 to 12 points, and, we put them on the free throw line. We just, it's just we let them have it. We don't come out and we actually try to take it from them. We just let them have it. And we lie down and we just don't play the basketball that we've been practicing and working our tails off for. It's just that, we get in the game and we try to play it and then we get from that. And it just goes a whole different direction for us when that happens.
Daniel, one thing I know, a lot of times you get 2, 3, 4 shots a game off offensive boards. You were averaging 3 offensive rebounds going to Ole Miss, and their coach Kermit Davis said they did a great job of keeping you off the offensive boards. What were they doing, and how much did that contribute to you not getting more shots?
They was doing anything basically any other team has done to me. They made sure I didn't, attack the glass like I always did. And I didn't attack the glass like like I usually do at all against Ole Miss. I didn't attack defensive glass like I needed to or offensive glass. It was a real off game for me. I don't know what it was. I was trying to get back to the flow of the game, but I just could never get there. I was trying to tell the guys to stay in it, and I'll do whatever it takes to, help them stay in the game. But, I mean, what they did, they just, were real physical with me, made sure I didn't get inside, pushed me out every time. They were sending at least 2 or 3 people to box me out. So.
And, there's a lot of season left. Do you feel good that you guys can get back to, getting the ball to you, or you can be more effective? And if you're more effective, obviously the team's going to be more effective.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, once we get this next win under our belt, our confidence is going to be back to where it needs to be. But, it just doesn't take anything but a bunch of hard work throughout the days until the next game,
You guys are a young team, but Mike Anderson, he's been doing this a while, never had a losing record in his 17th season. How much can a veteran coach like Mike help guide you guys through a patch like this?
He can help a lot. He tells us not to let go of the rope, and, he just comes in every day, and he basically tells us the stuff that we need to do and the stuff that we aren't doing. And, he's just being a good coach. That's all I can say about that.
What have you seen from Missouri when you scout them, and then how critical a game is Wednesday night here?
Wednesday night game, it's a real big game because, we've lost, the last couple of games we've had at home. So, we got to protect home court. Missouri, as I've heard, they just got a big win. So, we just got to come out and play basketball. We can't stoop down to that level. We just got to come out and play Arkansas basketball. We can't beat ourselves or shoot ourselves in the foot.
Jontay Porter, I don't know how well you got to know him, but he tore up his knee right before the season. Kind of, how well do you know him? Just how tough is that to see another great player in the league that gets injured like that?
Yeah, I know Jontay a little bit. I don't know him that well, but it's just tough to see a good player go down like that. It's not every day that you get to come out and play basketball because you got guys that's not able to play. And for him to be in that position is, it's real tough on him. I'm already knowing because he wants to be out there with his team and play, the great game of basketball because everybody wants to play. Just like with our team, Khalil. Khalil wants to play as much as anybody on this team wants to play, but, he can't because of the medical conditions he's in. So,
I understand you guys hung out with some kids today. How was that? And maybe being with some kids, can that help? Maybe is that good therapy when you're going through a tough patch? You get to hang out with some kids and have some fun.
737-6963. This is the Morning Rush.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, presented by World of Wireless.
Hey, lock in your price for 2 years when you call WOW now, 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474. Also bundle it with high-speed internet. You're worried about your television package being bundled up with your current provider with their internet service. You say, well, but change, even though I'm paying more, what about my internet? Well, with World of Wireless, they got a solution for that. They have every internet possible, whether it's the local telephone company, whether it's the cable company, whether it's satellite internet. They've got all varieties of internet that they can bundle with Dish service. But also, they have their very own WOW Fast internet. And you say, well, what is that? Well, it's fiber to air. It's in certain parts. It's kind of like the old cell phone coverage maps or whatever. You got to live in a coverage area to make it work. So you need to go to wowfastinternet.com and see if you live in that coverage area, if your business is in that coverage area, because they can bundle high-speed internet there as well. If you live in a rural area south or east of Fort Smith, you probably are struggling to find internet that can get you good enough service to game, to stream, Netflix, your kids gaming, all that. Are your kids complaining about the internet? Call WOW now, 877-305-DISH.
So we've been having a lot of fun, a lot of great responses already with the civil lawsuit being filed in New Orleans about the playoff game with the Saints being screwed over by the officials. They want to replay it. I just simply asked everybody on behalf, if you could have an attorney file a lawsuit on behalf of Razorback fans, which game or play or whatnot would you want replayed because you felt cheated? And Brandon comes in. See, this is the thing, is this doesn't have to do with just officiating, because there's going to be examples. But like Brandon, for instance, he talks about Auburn in 2010. because they lost by 3 scores, and he talked about how there were some controversial plays in there in the dirt. But the thing is about Cam Newton, for instance.
Right.
If Cam Newton, which we all know that he did not go to Auburn free of charge. Like, let's just be honest. He did not do that.
It wasn't just for an education and books.
No. He was
room and board.
It was 100% confirmed that Mississippi State offered him $180,000.
And he said no.
And he said no because I'm going for free.
That would be illegal.
That's right. He would never do anything like that. So he went to Auburn for free. That all makes sense. But see, that's a great example of if a civil lawsuit would have came in, if he would have stepped in and you would have had to replay that game, because we all know Auburn would not have. They would have been a 7-5 team at best without Cam Newton. Well, I mean, at best, he was just that amazing of a player. And if Arkansas would have won that game, which they more than likely would without Cam Newton, Arkansas would have won the SEC West that year, would have played in the SEC championship, and maybe even have played for the national championship. But see, that's the type of thing that I'm asking for, is the things that you can look back on. Of course, 2012 with the College World Series gets brought up against South Carolina with Perry Costello, and Tanner English is fast. I don't know if you remember that, Tommy. Yeah. Tanner English is really fast. Some Glutton for Punishment, funny Twitter name. He says U.S. Reed got tripped, so Sidney would take the last shot and he would make it back-to-back Final Fours. What he's going way back during that. So Keith says he'd hire Johnny Cochran to get Bobby Petrino out of trouble and make his motorcycle disappear.
That would be 2 miraculous feats if you could get Johnny Cochran to do it. So,
yeah, I mean he's
considering he's dead.
Yeah.
You know.
Is he dead, or is it one of those, things that
Johnny Cochran
he's actually
died.
dead? Okay.
He's actually
All right.
dead.
And if we need confirmation on that. So, but it's just amazing some of the responses that we're getting on this, because I think there is a lot of ones that Razorback fans have a lot of disdain towards and a lot of bad feelings about where they felt cheated. Again, I think one of the biggest ones is the Sugar Bowl back in 2011, where those players should not have played for Ohio State. I mean,
nothing happened during the game. They just those players shouldn't have been on the field.
I can't. It still blows my mind. Okay, we know you're guilty, but you're not suspended for this game. You're suspended for 5 games next season.
And we promised to come back and do that again.
What kind of crap is that? See, NCAA,
it's an unjust world.
I'm telling you.
It's an unjust world, John.
I'm telling you. It's so unjust. But we'll get to that and a lot more of the Morning Rush coming back in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Not off to the start that we want to, but at the same time, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and I really believe this team will continue to get better. Playing against a Mizzou team that's probably is trying to get wins just like we are, and we've got to be able to defend the home court. They won a big game at A&M. And, of course, with Kunzo's team, they're going to come in, they're going to get after you defensively and rebound the basketball with Tillman inside. The Geist kid is playing better. Whereas our team, we need to get into we need to play a total good game. That's what I'm looking for our guys. I think we've been trying to win just with offense, and you can't just win with offense in our league. It's got to be a defensive effort as well. And so we've got to continue to get better in a lot of different areas. I think taking care of the basketball is going to be one of them. We've got to take care of the basketball. We've got to be able to defend. We talked about getting off to a good start, and we started the game off right off the game with the turnover, and you can't do that, especially on the road. But I look for our guys to come out and play with a much greater sense of urgency, playing against a Mizzou team that, obviously they border. It's a border game where the states touch, so it's going to be a big game for us and a big game for them as well.
Mike Daniels just in here, and he was pretty humble and took a lot of blame for the loss the other day, said he needs to play better. What are you seeing from Daniel, and what kind of response do you expect from him?
Well, what you're seeing, and that's the thing with the inexperienced team, is that Daniel's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. I mean, he's played so well. And as that attention, 2 and 3 people around, our spacing hasn't been the greatest. If our spacing is good enough, then you're going to see those guys kind of be the recipients of some good passes for him. But they're coming at him. They're saying, hey, them other guys are going to have to beat you. And so our other guys are going to have to step up and make shots and finish off plays and take care of the basketball. I think he's giving us everything he can. But that's what happens. Like I said, when you go from not being on the scouting report to the top of of the scouting report. And so we know he can play a lot better. We had too many turnovers, I thought, Bob. And then on that, the momentum plays. We cut the ball game to a 40, I think it was 49-43. And we had the ball a couple of times where we got to come down, and now we got to execute. Yeah, because I didn't think they had an answer for Dan if we continue to have patience and get the ball in. And but I thought we sped up and played too fast. And then, of course, Ole Miss took advantage of that. But I think with Dan, we got to continue to he's got to be the centerpiece. He's got to be able to touch the ball, even if he don't shoot it. I think he's a willing passer. He's not a black hole. And those other guys got to be able to play off of him.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
1 hour down, 2 hours to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Neighbors, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, all in studio with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your morning this morning. It is a What's Your Beef Wednesday, so we're going to be doing that around 8 a.m. this morning. But if you want to give your beefs, you can tweet at us and hit that line AR, or you can call in 877-377-6963 is that number to call in.
Friday morning, we're going to be at Oaklawn. We'll be telling you more about Oaklawn throughout the week. The start of the 2019 live racing season begins this Friday. Also on Friday, we're going to have our Oaklawn handicappers with us, and we'll give you some picks for the weekend. We're going to do that on Fridays at around 8:15 or so. So make sure if you're headed to the races, you join us each and every Friday for some picks for the weekend with Pick Suey. And they're Brad Norwood with Pick Suey is going to be with us this year to give us some handicapping insights and some picks. So looking forward to getting racing back underway this Friday and us being at Oaklawn.
That's right. Starting things off. Oh, I mean,
got a lot of new stuff coming there too.
Yeah.
A new hotel that's in the plans and a lot of expansion soon to be underway.
Yeah. And I'm always wondering that if, Arkansas ever did the whole sports gambling thing.
Oh, it's coming at some point.
Which I think it's, just a matter of when, not if. But what would Hot Springs and Oaklawn, it would really just blow up to even a bigger deal than what it is now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's always some fun stuff to go on down at Oaklawn and Hot Springs. So I know we're looking forward to it and hanging down there. And I don't know. There's just something about horse racing that just really
something about Hot Springs too.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to win some money when we're down there. Can we?
Yeah, we're going. I'm gonna go to a few races. Be there. You want to go?
Yeah.
All right. We'll hang out.
Okay. Sounds good. Just made plans on the air.
Yeah.
So
sure.
Ty's got the board. But
yeah,
appreciate it.
We'd take Ty. But he's got a show from noon to 2. So
you wanted a show, Ty.
Yeah,
you got a show.
That's what comes with it.
I didn't want a show. Tommy's just like, you got to do a show from 12 to 2.
You didn't want a show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You just twisted your arm and forced you. It's like, you're going to do it with Phil Elson. You're going to like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure that's exactly how it all went down.
You want us to call in from Rockies across the street as we're eating a pizza and
Chicago-style pizza.
Was that where we went last time? I remember, I think it was Rockies. That is where we went.
Right across the street from the track?
Yes.
Right, yeah, it was Rockies.
It was that, and then we also went to McLaurin's. I believe that was down there, too. So, yeah.
What's that big old mess because the story behind that McLaurin's thing is the chef came in hungover as hell one morning, and they're like, all right, we got to get him woken up. And so they just started throwing, barbecue nachos and all this crap on a plate.
We had some stuff that was the tamale spread. It was good. And then they brought out some kind of mess. I think they call it a mess. I don't know, but look that up. But it was good.
Mm.
I saw an ad McLaurin's. I love their barbecue sauce.
Yeah. You've not been to McLaurin's?
Really? No, you're missing out.
Well, good stuff.
We'll let you know how it goes when we go down there in Hot Springs this weekend.
Should we send him a picture?
Well, I think that's become the commonality that comes to our group text, that if one of us is at a place where we're eating and having something lovely and want to show off, we take a picture and send it to the group to make everybody jealous. Tommy did that over the weekend.
I did.
He was making, what was it, pork chops? Was that what it was?
I made some really thick bone-in pork loin pork chops. And I sent a picture and I got a reply about the grammar police over here, Mr. Richardson. Instead of saying, hey, those look good or something, he had to give a smart alecky because I used the wrong context or the wrong spelling of your.
I don't actually.
I'm in a hurry. I don't have time to make sure the apostrophe RE is in there.
First thing I text was, "Wow, thanks for the invite," and then we went into that conversation because you said "You're welcome," YOUR instead of "You are."
Yeah.
Well,
voice text doesn't know the difference,
I figured it should. But
It should. That's the problem.
Yeah. So it's not Tommy's
Maybe that's
fault,
my
it's voice
beef. It's
text.
all you snooty people out there that when you don't have the right "your" and they're on text, just want to go sideways,
Hey, but the thing is,
Start screaming.
I appreciate the people that go sideways because now what it does is it makes me like double check everything that I'm going to tweet out grammatically and make sure, because there's been times where I tweeted out, see mistakes, and I got to delete the tweet real quick and fix that.
Probably with a text with Ty, I will make sure I use the wrong
I've done that one
version.
time in 6 months. One time. So don't act like I'm the grammar police.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
He's the grammar police, folks. He's one of those guys.
Yeah. Well, it's just people want to get
Like
make
he was
sure-
so confused as to what I was trying to tell him.
Well, see, Tommy, that's the problem is that we don't want to be factually correct. We just want to be morally right, remember? Facts don't matter.
Well, or is it about being right or about getting it right? There's too many people in this world. It's about being right. I got to be right rather than getting it right.
That's pretty deep, Tommy.
Yeah.
That's I have to use that.
I think it's just called a tamale spread, guys.
There you go. Dog on a bone, folks.
Oh,
the tamale spread is pretty good.
It's
At
just
McClart's.
covered in cheese.
Yeah, we had one of those. We had a half a order of one of those.
So what you're saying is that
when me and John were there last year.
that when I come back from Oakland, I'm probably going to have to do one of those
More
morning
lun-
and
more
afternoons.
lunges.
Yeah, more
More
lunges.
lunges.
That's fine. It's worth it to me.
I'll bring the leftovers and sit on a 5-gallon bucket and watch you.
Yeah, hey, it's completely
and eat the rest of the tamale spread.
You bring the leftovers, I'll eat them Monday morning at 6 a.m.
Well, see, and that's the thing is we talk about, and we've talked about food on this show because I think, of course, we love food, but also everybody loves food. Everyone loves food, but I've always thought about if I didn't do a sports talk radio show, if I still wanted to do some type of show, it would be a food show.
Oh, that's like the next thing I want to do is like a barbecue blog or a barbecue video blog, something.
Yeah, it'd be
some
great.
kind of video thing with barbecue involved.
Yeah, almost like it's like a Food Network.
Why do you
type
laugh,
thing.
Ty?
That just doesn't seem like your personality to be
do
a
a vlog?
vlogger.
A vlogger?
I know food is one thing, but for you to start
So you wouldn't
vlogging it.
You wouldn't subscribe and watch.
No, I would.
Me give the latest rib rub trick and tip that
It just
I've
doesn't.
come across. How much brown sugar should be in your rib rub this week?
To piggyback off of what Ty is saying, though, I think it would be funny is, you see the video and you have Tommy sitting there, hello, I'm Tommy Kraft. Got a great spread for you today. Doing it that way would be pretty funny to see.
I want to tell you about my butt.
Yeah, well, I got it.
It's a pork butt.
I love putting rub on my pork butt and
Putting rub on my butt.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that. And see, Tommy he wouldn't be able to make it because he'd be sitting there laughing at himself the whole time when he's making these jokes.
By the way, I'm looking at Rocky's Pizza's menu and just pictures and stuff. This stuff.
I don't know why you're doing it because you're not going to.
He's helping us. He's researching for us for our.
Well, appreciate
what
it.
to order.
Yeah, let us know what we need to order.
You pick out which one you want us to send you a picture of during the midst of your show, and we'll handle that.
If I get a picture during halftime next week of some of this pizza, I'm just gonna walk out of the studio.
Yeah, it's going to happen like in 2 days.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, we'll let you know. But the thing is, I've always thought about doing. I'd love to do like a Food Network show of just talking about food. Like some of these guys, like Guy Fieri. Would you not love to have that job? Like just where
we were talking about guys with perfect lives. We talked about Jeter. That's who we should be. Like Guy Fieri. There's the guy.
He gets paid millions to eat food and talk about it. Like what could be a better job? Because to be a great athlete, but that requires a lot of work. Keep your body in shape. And
I don't know
that.
who. There's a new guy. It's not Adam Richmond that does Man vs. Food. There's a new guy now.
Yeah,
Casey something. I don't know. Anyway.
Is the show still going?
Yeah. They got a new host.
I haven't watched it since Richmond left.
Like Adam Richmond's cholesterol went to 1100, and they had to take him
Can't
off the air.
imagine why.
And they got a new guy in there.
Yeah,
and that would be the
That'd be the ultimate job.
Yeah.
Just you go around, you eat food.
You may die early, but you're going to go with a smile.
Yeah.
What about a combination like Todd Blackledge with ESPN? He's now paired
pretty
with
good deal.
Sean McDonough. He has
Taste of the Town.
Todd's Taste of the Town in Fayetteville. He went to Herman's, Doe's, and he went to Mama Dean's before it closed down. Did you ever go there?
Yeah.
Mama Dean's was great.
That was my favorite place in Fayetteville until the rumor was
the taxes. You got to pay. Apparently, you got to pay taxes.
Yeah.
I heard about that.
I get up there.
It's in all the papers.
I get up there freshman year, and we drop off my stuff at the dorm. It's like, all right, Dad, let's go to Mama Dean's. We get there, and it's closed. I was like, what's going on? I asked around. It's like, yeah,
Do they have a
closed down.
trailer still? They had a food trailer
Yeah,
at one time.
I think it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
those food trucks on
Mama
Dixon
Dean's is in the
recycle
old Mr. Burger.
Yeah, way back when on on School, right?
Yeah.
On Old School Avenue. So
in
I
the
mean,
middle
it was
of nowhere.
That
it
was
was
God, I'm
awesome.
glad you know what that is.
Yeah.
I thought I was gonna have to explain it. I knew
What's
he
that?
would be in face.
Mama Dean's? Oh, that was like destination.
Well,
I mean,
and well, it's funny that all this was brought up because yesterday was National Southern Food Day, which apparently that's a thing, which is fine by me. And it was actually
should be like every day.
Yeah, and I was asking Tommy about this during the commercial break where Alex McDaniel, she writes for Red Cup Rebellion, she asked, since it's National Southern Food Day, what is your most controversial Southern food take? And what I came up with, and apparently it is controversial because I had people yelling at me, was that I don't believe beans belong in chili. It's fine if you think so, but
I kind of agree with that.
But a lot of people say no. That means it's soup when there's no beans in chili.
Well, I have always made chili with beans, but our guy Stan's been bringing us some chili, and it's got no beans, and it's made me rethink because it's really, really good. And I got one daughter that she hates beans, so if I make chili, but the family seems to like chili with no beans. I'm kind of coming around. I used to always believe you got to have beans to have chili.
Not anymore. I mean, there's a lot of people that are going
That's
that
a
route.
Texas thing, right? No beans in the chili?
I
That's
think
a
so.
Texas thing.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
That's
We
what
all know
was
my
reported.
controversial one: sweet tea and mac and cheese are trash.
That's just
unbelievable. No, that is controversial. That's
Sweet
for sure.
tea and mac, and that's like the
That is Southern
cornerstones.
food, yeah.
That's the foundational blocks
That'd
of
be like-
Southern food.
And unless the only one would be worse saying you hate cornbread. I mean, cornbread is like the ultimate Southern food. But there's
Well, let me throw one out for you.
What's that?
This is gonna be bad here.
What's that?
Chicken fried steak's overrated.
Oh my God,
that's terrible. That's a
I
bad.
like chicken fried steak, but it's just overrated. I mean, there's so many better
That's
selections.
bad. So what is it what is it about it that's overrated? Is it just that? I mean, other than just the taste, obviously. But
You
is
take
it just,
a good piece of meat, you hammer it out to paper thin, and then you fry it. I mean, which is good. I mean, it tastes good. I just think
you'd
of
rather
all
have
the
your meat
Southern
done
foods,
something well.
of all the Southern foods you're going to have, it's not. A lot of people would put that number one. I would not put chicken fried steak at the top of the list.
Okay.
Now I want to go to Calico.
I mean, that's
Calico's got a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. That is a controversial take, that's for sure. But
go big or go home.
Like some people on Twitter though were saying that grits aren't any good. Some people don't like grits.
Grits got to be with like shrimp. I like it New Orleans style. Like
Well, there's so many
shrimp
ways
and
to
grits.
prepare it.
Right.
I mean, you can have it with like brown sugar and cinnamon, or you can have it with shrimp, as you say. So I mean,
Right.
there's a lot of ways to do it. Pimento cheese is not good. That's actually one I agree with too. I'm not a fan of
My
pimento.
dad loves pimento cheese. I'm not a
Grilled pimento cheese sandwiches. Bring it on.
You're a fan of that?
We don't eat a lot of pimento cheese, but yeah, I like pimento cheese.
What about boiled peanuts?
I haven't had those
All right.
since the beach.
Yeah.
Sounds
I'm
like
not a fan of
middle
those,
school.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. Anyways.
I like the Cajun peanuts. A little
Yeah, no,
spice.
those are good. Those are good.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, there's our dedicated segment for the week on food for the National Southern Food
And we
Day.
will be sending Ty a picture during his show on Friday.
Yep, we'll probably be posting
Something
picture.
cheesy and delicious we are chowing down on while he is supposedly working.
Yeah.
Joke's on you when I order a pizza to the studio.
Yeah, well, I guess
Eat it
hey,
mid-show.
we can keep one-upping each other in this
Fine.
competition. That's for sure.
We'll be at Rockies across the street from Oaklawn, and, well, you won't be.
Yeah, that's right.
Honest Razorback talk that never yields.
Execution part that we've got to get better at.
Like Cheney and both start. Arch doesn't play nearly as well as off the bench. I mean, what do you do with that other forward spot?
Well, we just got to keep trying it. Keep trying it, whether it be him or even Gabe. We saw Gabe come in the second half, and I thought Gabe gave us an attacking forward. I thought he was really active, trying to get the ball inside to Daniel on the glass. We just got to keep brother-in-law in it, I think, with those guys.
Yeah, like you said, you guys have been trying to win with just offense, and Daniel said the defense has not been good. They've just kind of been giving baskets. How do you guys fix that, and are you confident you can fix it?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can fix it. I think it's a matter of getting all the guys on the same page. You got to talk on defense. Our defense is geared toward putting pressure on people, and I think we've been just letting people run the offense. I really, really have. I think we kind of been playing on our heels, but we've got to be a little bit more aggressive, and we got to be able to be in rotation. Some things penetration is gonna take place. We got to be able to fix it. I mean,
Welcome back into the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, presented by Crabtree RV.
Yeah, this weekend, in 2 days, January 25th, beginning on Friday, the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show gets underway at Crabtree RV in Alma. Whether it's a wet day like we had last night or wet and gray like it was all day yesterday, it doesn't matter. They got 26,000 square feet of indoor showroom. They're going to load it up with, of course, motorhomes, travel trailers, fifth wheels, but also bass, ski, and pontoon boats, golf carts, tractors, mowers, four-wheelers, side-by-sides, and the latest outdoor clothing and equipment, all in one location. It's all sponsored by Crabtree RV, Cofer's Boat Center, Golf Cars of Fort Smith, Wheeler Power Sports, Jelco Outdoors, Alma Tractor, and Bad Boy Mowers. It all begins this Friday through February 2nd at the Greater Fort Smith RV Boat and Outdoor Show at Crabtree RV in Alma.
So Arkansas is playing Missouri tonight in basketball. We're going to be catching up with Alex Schiffer, who writes for the Kansas City Star and covers Missouri, and we're going to talk to him here in about 20 minutes. But one of the things that I think about when I was looking at this game, looking at matchups and all that, you remember that just a few years ago, this game had heat.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, the main reason being Mike Anderson.
Making the move.
And I remember that the first game that when Missouri came to the conference and they had Frank Haith as their head coach in the first game in Bud Walton Arena between these two teams, there was a ton of Missouri fans there. Arkansas barely got the win. For some reason, B.J. Young got 2 back-to-back and ones when Arkansas was down 4 with less than 30 seconds to go. I remember that game very vividly. But there was a lot of heat in the building, and then Arkansas goes on the road to Columbia. There was a very heated building there. Arkansas gets beat by like 25. That's when Frank Haith thought he was going to go and fight Mike Anderson, which was a really stupid move by him, and it was a laughable move. But it just made me wonder, if that right there, if all of that stuff going on did not spark any type of rivalry.
What will?
Nothing will. That was because there was a hatred there for a while between these two teams and between those coaches for all the reasons, and now it's just kind of like, another SEC game.
Maybe you need to create a trophy and concoct some
that'll
classy, quick name like, I don't know, like the Battle Line rivalry. Maybe that'll heat up the border, as they say.
Got to have a sponsor for it. You got to have a sponsor for it, Tommy, if it's going to be a real rivalry.
You got to have stuff like that. But then, I go back to rivalries matter when you got decades of geography.
Yeah.
And in playing each other for decades. Arkansas and Missouri hadn't played long enough. Or you play a lot of games of consequence. LSU and Alabama is not a geographical rivalry. Why is that a rivalry?
Because they're good.
Because they play games of consequence. Arkansas and Missouri hadn't played a series of games that matter. I think Alabama-Clemson's now like the best rivalry in college football. Why? Because when they play, it means something.
That's right.
But the best geographical rivalries in college football are like the Iron Bowl, Bama, Auburn, Oklahoma,
Michigan,
Texas, Michigan, Ohio State. Those, but those aren't always games of consequence.
Yeah. Well,
you got to have one or the other. Arkansas kind of has geography. Columbia's, it's damn near in Iowa.
Yeah. It's not even
way
close.
Up there.
You're closer to Dallas than you are to Columbia.
Right.
So, it's a long ways away.
And really, you get down around the border, around Branson, and you got people that are Missouri State fans, transplants that moved into Branson. There's just not a lot of Mizzou fans in southern Missouri. it's just a little more mixed. And then you got the Chiefs, you got Cardinals, you got all these other things. Missouri's like third or fourth priority in that state. That's a lot of things I think holds this rivalry back.
Yeah, and also the fact that the football program from Missouri's been up, Arkansas's been down, but basketball's been the opposite. Arkansas basketball's been more up.
If you'd have been playing every year since like Norm and Nolan were at the schools, might be a different story today.
Yeah, but unfortunately it's not. But we're going to talk about that more on the other side. Stay with us, folks.
Want to get in on the fun of the lottery and get a great deal? Just say
maybe 3 or 4 screen rows, and so the offside help. Where guys are hugging the man's on the offside. That's got to be a lot better, and we've been better throughout the year. So again, I just think it's a wake up call for our guys, because our defense again is what we got to hang our hats on. And then as your defense picks up, then I think it takes you to another level on offense as well.
I guess in your 8 years, you'd never lost more than 3 in a row. Just kind of, one, how do you handle it, and two, how do you kind of convince a team they're not in like a free fall where it just keeps happening?
Well, I've talked about patience throughout this year, Nate, and even as we played, in the Ole Miss game, we didn't shoot the ball well. And then, of course, now it just trickles down into your defensive side. I think there are some things that we're doing well. The bright spot in that game, you look at Keyshawn Embry coming off the bench. I thought he gave us some quality minutes. I thought Gabe gave us some really good minutes. And so now if you get some of those guys that are starting out to playing at the level they're capable of playing, I think we see Isaiah is really starting to – I think he's starting to play with that pop that you got to play with. And I think that's even with our team. We got to play with a little more pop, a little more energy. I think that's got to be – we're an energy team. And once that energy is injected from a defensive standpoint, then we're in attacking mode offensively as well.
You got a young team, but you're an experienced coach. I look up. You actually had a 4-game losing streak at UAB. You guys went to the NCAA tournament your first year at Mizzou. You had a 4-game losing streak. You guys
I did? I didn't know that.
It's on. And you guys won 18 games. You didn't go to the NIT or whatever, but you still won 18 games. So how can an experienced coach like yourself help navigate a young team through a rough patch like this?
I think you don't panic. I think that's the biggest key. You don't panic. And if they don't see you panic, they're going to be okay. I think what we do works. And we've seen that, early on. Now we just got to be able to put it together here, and nothing like some good winning would take care. But I think, get in the gym and continue to work and continue to believe in each other. I think one thing about these guys continue to believe in one another, and we eventually go with a hump. We're becoming a team, and there's a learning curve. You're not going to see Mason Jones go 1 for 10. I mean, he was 1 for 10, and that's one of our leading scorers in conference play. So we got to have some more guys click on some of the cylinders that can help us offensively. And then defensively, I think we really got to dig into the trenches and become one of those teams that, you know what, if we don't score, then you don't score. I think that's what you got to have the mindset. Get stingy on it.
With Mizzou, they lost Jonte Porter before the season. How do you think they've adjusted to playing without him? And I know the family. Just kind of what are your thoughts on him, not being able to play this year?
Obviously, when it took place, obviously my thoughts and prayers were with him and his family. You think about Michael, Jonte, and great family. But at the same time, I think Cuonzo, you got to play with the hand that you dealt with. And so, with that being said, you got to formulate and create that to be that team that you got this year. And I think he got some young guys that are pretty good, and very much like us. They have Geis, who's.
All right, welcome back into the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, presented by Orr Auto Park at 6500 Auto Park Drive in Fort Smith. They are the home of the lifetime engine warranty on all new vehicles. Free maintenance for 2 years and free car washes for the life of the vehicle. Cadillac, Chevrolet, and Nissan at an affordable price. Orr Auto Park also has a huge selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs for you to choose from. Visit OrrAutoPark.com where you can score more with Orr. We're talking a little bit about Arkansas and Missouri tonight and why it hasn't really materialized into being some type of rivalry game where it seemed like it had the makings for it, at least in the start,
right,
with the Mike Anderson angle. And then during the break, we were talking about some of the history between these two teams. I think the game that'll probably stand out to a lot of people was in 1993, the very first season that Bud Walton was opened.
Mm-hmm.
And in the first televised game was between Arkansas, who was number 2 at the time, and Missouri. I believe they were number 8 at the time. I could be mistaken, but I know that they were a top 10 team. That Missouri team ended up going undefeated in the Big 8. being a number 1 seed.
Right.
And Arkansas beat them 120-68.
That's the game that in the post-game handshake, Norm Stewart said something to Nolan along the lines of either you're really good or we ain't worth a bleep.
Well, I guess they were worth something during the regular season.
Obviously, that tells you how good Arkansas was in the fact that they destroyed the eventual Big 8 champion.
I mean, and here's
by 50.
And here's what's crazy about this game, because I was just looking at the box score. It was played on a Thursday night, December 2nd. All right? There were 20,212 people in Bud Walton Arena for this game. And Arkansas, it was at halftime. It was pretty much a blowout at halftime. It's 45-22. Arkansas had a 23-point lead. Arkansas scored 75 points in the second half. 75 points. They had 7 players in double figures. I mean, that season was great, and there was a lot of other memorable games too. But you talk about just if you could go back in a moment and see the atmosphere there because I think Tim Brando was on the call for that as well, and it was during it was just during the time where Arkansas basketball was really getting it going. I think that's probably the most memorable game between these two opponents.
You know, and you mentioned over 20,000 in attendance. People, there are some that of the belief Bud Walton was overbuilt. You'll never fill it up again. I'm of the belief if you just win consistently, earn the trust of the fans, you could get back to 19,000 people being in that building on a regular basis. I don't think it's overbuilt. I just think the program's underperformed. But isn't that, I know all the games are on TV now, and they weren't then. That was a televised game. But you had to go to the arena to see the team.
Yeah.
The team was really good. Yeah, but if Arkansas had a team that was in the top 10, that team was number 2, playing another top 10 team.
Yeah,
the building would be full.
You'd get 20,000 people
exactly.
there. Yeah, so I don't buy.
I don't even know what
excuse.
it actually holds now. That they moved some seating around and moved the media seating up into that corner and taken the press row that was in at that time out. But it's still around 19,000 people.
Yeah,
they can get in there.
You could find a way to squeeze them in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, Trinity Multifamily is proud to announce their latest addition to their roster of wonderful places to live. It's Watercolors of Centerton, the newest luxury apartment homes in Northwest Arkansas. Features a golf simulator, fully equipped fitness center, resort-style pool with patio, fire pit, courtyard with lounge space, grilling areas, quartz countertops in the units, and valet trash service as well. If all of that sounds good to you and you're looking for a place near Centerton to call home, Trinity Multifamily has the answer for you. 479-452-1817 for more details, or check out this wonderful property and luxury apartment units in Northwest Arkansas online at watercolorsofcenterton.com.
Chances that Arkansas beats Missouri 120-68 tonight?
0.
Chances there's 20,000 people there in the state?
0.
Chances that Norm Stewart and Nolan Richardson walked through that door.
Norm had a birthday. Nolan may very well walk through the door and sit in his normal seat in the corner.
Yeah, that's true.
Lower bowl, but
that's true.
Saw where Norm had a birthday. Stormin Norman turned, I think, he's 84.
Yeah.
A couple days ago.
What was he? How long was he there for? Like 30 years. I mean, it seemed like they'd have the court named after him. So, I mean, yeah, he was iconic there. But still, the greatest accomplishment by Missouri basketball has been an Elite Eight appearance. And Mike Anderson was the last one to do it for Missouri. Kind of frustrating, isn't it? More of that talk coming up next. Stay with us, folks.
Was kind of shattered by the losing streak. Where do you think your all's confidence level is, and maybe how do you get it back up to where it was earlier in the season?
I mean, as you can see, our confidence level is pretty low right now because of the way we're playing. I mean, we're playing last game, we played with some fight, but we didn't play with that much fight that we needed. I mean, and our confidence level is going to get back up, but we just got to, come out and play the basketball that, we played at the beginning of the year and not this basketball that we've been playing.
You're still a young guy, but you're one of the older guys on the team. What sort of leadership role do you play to help the guys get their confidence back up?
I mean, I've become more of a vocal leader on the floor because, I used to be quiet all the time. I used to try to lead by example, but now I have to become more vocal because, some of the young guys, they kind of get down on themselves when they, make mistakes in the game. I mean, we can't just, feel bad for ourselves most of the time, especially during game time because, we need all our attention on the game and all our attention on executing plays down the stretch and on defense. It's such things like that. And, I just, go up to them, give them a motivational talk or something to try to get them back in the game because, we need every single one of us.
Ole Miss was doubling, even triple teaming you, just what can you do and what can your teammates do to get you open against defenses like that?
No, the main thing I could have did, I could have just, moved around more instead of trying to post up and have my back to the basket. I could have been setting screens, off the ball screens or ball screens for the guard. I mean, it's just that I was staying in one spot too much during the game, and I was crowding up the lane. And, other guys can do basically what they can do to get me open. They can screen for me. They can come off my screens, and I'll be open for that. Or, they can just move around and keep the paint, from being cluttered. And if I get the ball inside on the post, they can just cut to the basket, find the easy lane to the hoop, and just get an easy layup.
Is it frustrating you're not getting more shots? I mean, like more games like what you did against LSU?
It's never frustrating because, every dog has a day.
It's What's Your Beef Wednesday. Call or tweet the show and share what you're beefing with today. 877-377-6963. This is The Morning Rush.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, and it couldn't be presented by anyone better than Art's Barbecue.
Hey, if you're getting ready for the Super Bowl, you're trying to start making menu plans for your watch party, your gathering, or maybe you're going somewhere and you need to bring some food, Art's Barbecue has got you hooked up here. 452-2550. Whether it's a small gathering, you just need a rack of ribs and, some beans and slaw, they got that. Rack of ribs, 2 sides, $26.99. They've also got special packs that will feed up to 10 for $99 and up to 20 people for $199. So if everybody's pitching in, and don't be the guy that doesn't throw in your 20, or be the guy that puts down a 10 and picks up a 20. I've seen you too. Don't be making change in the offering plate, all right? They got great packages. Rack and a half of ribs, 20 wings. I think Ty Richardson could eat 20 wings by himself. 3 pounds of pork or chicken and sauce. You can feed 20, 25 people for about $200 with Arts. They got different ones with racks of ribs, 40 wings. There you go. 3 racks of ribs and 40 wings, 6 pounds of pork or chicken. You can call and ask about all of these great packages and specials. Here's the best deal of all. Buy 5 racks of ribs or more. And you're going to need at least 5 racks. So you can order 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever you need, $20 a rack. They're going to smoke it up, have it ready for you on Super Bowl Sunday. You pick it up between 1 and 4 before the game. Art's Barbecue, Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith, 452-2550. Call Wade. They'll put it together for you. Whatever you're needing for your group, 452-2550. And again, racks of ribs, 5 or more, just $20 each at Art's.
So we're going to continue our discussion and talking about Arkansas and Missouri tonight in Bud Walton Arena, 2 teams that are desperately needing a win. And to help continue that conversation, let's welcome in Alex Schiffer. He's the Mizzou Athletics beat writer for the Kansas City Star. Going to get into a lot of info with him. Alex, appreciate you joining us this morning. How you doing, man?
Good. How are you guys?
We're doing really good, and we've been talking a little bit about this game, and we know what this Arkansas team has done this year where – it looked like they got off to a good start, but they've been reeling from the past few weeks. They're sitting at 10-7, 1-4 in conference. There's a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration with Razorback fans. They welcome in Missouri tonight, whose record's pretty similar. Missouri's sitting at 10-6. They're 1-3 in conference. You covered the team, obviously. So just kind of give us the storyline of what's been going on with this Missouri team, and how did they get to the record that they have today?
Yeah, well, I think it's worth pointing out that they lost Jonte Porter before the start of the year to an ACL and MCL tear, and they kind of had to go back to the drawing board with how they were going to run some things. And, the non-conference schedule, they really didn't have a bad loss. They lost to Kansas State, Temple, and drawing a blank on the list, and Iowa State. Iowa State loss has aged well. The Temple loss, they were right there. I think that's the one they'd like back. And Kansas State was, I think, top 15 or so when they played them. So they looked pretty good coming out of the non-con, and then Tennessee did what Tennessee does and blew them out the building in their SEC opener. They had a weird deal when they played South Carolina at their place of travel issues because we had a snowstorm hit Missouri. That game got pushed back a day. Missouri showed some fight, but didn't really do much afterwards, and then they lost to Alabama before blowing out A&M this past week. And really, just like Arkansas, when Missouri's post player Jeremiah Tillman is on the floor and out of foul trouble, Missouri's 19-2, in games that he scores at least 10 points. He really changes the dynamic for them without Jontay Porter. And he said after the A&M game that the refs have kind of been working with him a little more about, help me, help you, listen to us how we're calling things, and, we'll try to keep you on the floor. But really it kind of starts with him, and then they have some good backcourt guys, Jordan Geist and Mark Smith. Jordan Geist has completely remade himself. He's Missouri's heart and soul of the team, and they need him on the floor as much as Tillman sometimes.
Alex, we were talking earlier whether or not this is the feel of a rivalry game. Arkansas and Missouri have played for a long time, going back to Nolan and Norm, having always played every year till Missouri joined the league. Then Mike Anderson leaves Missouri to come to Arkansas. But to us, it doesn't feel like this game has the rivalry feel around it like it maybe should because of the proximity, because of the history. How does Missouri feel about playing Arkansas? Is it just another game, or is there a little more on the line when the Hogs are on the schedule?
Yeah, we were talking to Kevin Puryear, who's a KC native on the team, yesterday about this. And I jokingly call him the unofficial team historian because he grew up a Missouri fan. He watched a lot of Mike's teams growing up when Mike was at Missouri. He said he doesn't consider it a rivalry. I think Missouri fans consider Kansas more of one. Illinois, they play every year, obviously, in St. Louis. I think those are more of one. And also, the Arkansas does really well recruiting in state. Missouri doesn't really go for a lot of their guys like, Illinois and Kansas with some of the local recruiting battles. So I think that kind of downplays it too. And, I think there was a little more juice when Mike first left for Arkansas, but I think now it's died down a little bit.
What do most people in Missouri think about the job that Quanzo Martin has done? Obviously, getting him in that first year with some of the recruits that came along with him, there was a lot of excitement and buzz around him. They made it to the NCAA tournament last year. We know that they had some injuries that they had to deal with. But now here he is in his second year, 10-6, 1-3 in conference. Are people still happy and excited about the future of Quanzo Martin? Or are they a little cautiously optimistic? What's the feeling for Quanzo right now?
I still think they love him, and I think part of that is you look at the situation he inherited. I mean, Quanzo's already won more games in his year and a half than Kim Anderson won in his 3 years combined as Missouri's coach. So that statistic alone puts him in good fortune with the fans. And I think that the coaching job he did last year was incredibly underrated. He loses the top pick in the draft 2 minutes into the season, and he still gets them into the NCAA tournament. I thought that was a very underrated job nationally. And this year we'll see. I mean, I think people have thought that Missouri's been better than they thought they'd be once Jontay Porter went down. But it remains to be seen. I think a win tonight will put the NIT as an option maybe back in Missouri's hands. But it's tough to say. You could see the future he's building. A lot of the young backcourt players they have, a lot of people are saying, give those guys a couple years and maybe they could really be something. But I think right now, given that he's lost his best player each of his first 2 seasons, he's kind of gotten the benefit of the doubt from fans.
Certainly can't be easy, that's for sure. We're speaking with Alex Schiffer, a Mizzou beat writer for the Kansas City Star right now on the Morning Rush. Alex, Missouri coming into Arkansas, we all know that Bud Walton Arena is a really tough place to play. Arkansas has not actually played at home very well this season, lost a few games they probably shouldn't have. But Missouri to come into Arkansas and get back on the winning track and get a nice road victory, what are they going to have to make sure that they do and make sure that Arkansas doesn't do if they want to get out of there with a victory?
Take care of the ball. That press, Mike's press, is built to Missouri's Achilles heel. They're terrible with ball security. They have always had turnover issues. The one thing that's been interesting with Quanzo, and maybe it's part of the personnel he inherited, but before he got to Missouri, his teams never really had turnover issues. And last year they were a huge issue, and this year they've been one too. If Missouri stays under 15 turnovers, I think they have a chance to win this game. If it goes over that, then they'll probably lose. And obviously Mike's press is built to pressure the ball all game essentially, and Missouri's going to really have to take care of the ball if they want to keep this close and within striking distance.
This will be the 6th game in league play for Arkansas. So we're at the third. We're a third of the way through conference play. What's your evaluation of the SEC, where basketball's at? Tennessee's obviously real good. How good is this league, Alex, beyond the Tennessee Volunteers?
I think the SEC right now reminds me a lot of the way it was last year, where a lot of teams are kind of beating up on each other, and there's a very thin margin between second, third, fourth, and so on. I think LSU was the second-best team in this league when they played to their potential. They're loaded with talent there, but they've had a lot of growing pains. Ole Miss has been a very pleasant surprise that no one saw coming. Their leading scorer, Bree Tyree, is actually a high school classmate of mine. I'm happy for his success, but I didn't see Kermit Davis turning that around so quickly. Mississippi State lost to Kentucky last night, but obviously they've been, a top 25 team. So I think that, I wasn't totally surprised when Florida beat Arkansas in Bud Walton, just because that's kind of what happened last year. Just you saw these wins that you were like, wait, what? And I think that it's been a lot of that this year too.
Yeah, certainly going to see how it plays out. Really appreciate you joining us. Alex Schiffer, Mizzou Athletics beat writer for the Kansas City Star. Have fun at the game tonight, man, and I'm sure we'll be catching up with you later down the road, all right?
Sounds good. Take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
I appreciate it, man. 877-377-6963 is the number to call in. We got to take a commercial break, but before we do, Tommy's going to tell you about Gaston's.
Yeah, Gaston's White River Resort, 870-431-5202. Winter rates right now underway, so you can get 40% off when you stay at Gaston's. So whether you're staying for the week or the weekend, or maybe you want to go for Super Bowl weekend, right now is a great time. You can save some money at Gaston's. And with that extra savings, gives you maybe the opportunity to book a guide for a day or two, or maybe your entire time out on the water, because the guides at Gaston's can really put you in the right spot. You got to be careful. The water's been higher because they've been running 8 units on the Bull Shoals Dam, and you always want to be aware of your surroundings when you're on the White River. Docks, trees, other boats. You want to make sure you know all of the the unique traits of the White River, and that's what a guide can do for you. Not only help you land your limit, but those trophy browns that are biting right now. If you're a spin caster, it's been great fishing right now, and a lot of different stuff is working, but you need to get with one of the guides up there, and down on the dock, they can really make the fishing experience go to another level at Gaston's. Don't miss out on that. 870-431-5202. And again, 40% off your lodging when you stay right now at Gaston's. That's good the rest of January and all of February right now. Great time to take advantage at Gaston's White River Resort. Online at Gastons.com, again, 870-431-5202. Gaston's White River Resort. A first-class time every time.
The voice of Razorback.
I mean, I got to come out and play every day, but it's just I couldn't find the flow of the game I wanted, and it just never came. And so I tried to do other things to help the team, like rebounding or blocking shots. Basically did.
Yeah, Daniel, the defense, I guess since the LSU game, what are the lapses that you're seeing, and how do you correct them?
It's just that we just got to protect, the inside. When teams get in on the inside, against us, it's automatic. And it's like we have no resistance on the inside, especially, with big guys like me. I'm supposed to be blocking shots and stuff. I need to step up my defense. For instance, like on ball, and especially ball screen defense, we need to, fix that also. There's a lot of things that we need to fix, and there's a lot of things that we know we need to fix, and it's going to be fixed. But it's just, it's a process.
Yeah, Daniel, I meant to ask you right before he did, but does it surprise you that you guys are giving up the most points per game in the league? I mean, are you aware of that? And is it those factors you talked about that flow into that?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise us at all because it's, the type of defense that we've been playing the past couple of games, we just basically been giving people the game. We've been spotting them 10 to 12 points, and, we put them on the free throw line. We just, it's just we let them have it. We don't come out and we actually try to take it from them. We just let them have it. And we lie down and we just don't play the basketball that we've been practicing and working our tails off for. It's just that, we get in the game and we try to play it and then we get from that. And it just goes a whole different direction for us when that happens.
Daniel, one thing I know, a lot of times you get 2, 3, 4 shots a game off offensive boards. You were averaging 3 offensive rebounds going to Ole Miss, and their coach Kermit Davis said they did a great job of keeping you off the offensive boards. What were they doing, and how much did that contribute to you not getting more shots?
I mean, they was doing anything basically any other team has done to me. They made sure I didn't, attack the glass like I always did. And I mean, I didn't attack the glass like I usually do at all against Ole Miss. I didn't attack defensive glass like I needed to, or offensive glass. It was a real off game for me. I don't know what it was. I was trying to get back to the flow of the game, but I just could never get there. I was trying to tell the guys to stay in it, and I'll do whatever it takes to, help them stay in the game. But, I mean, what they did, they just, were real physical with me, made sure I didn't get inside, pushed me out every time. They were sending at least 2 or 3 people to box me out. So.
And, there's a lot of season left. Do you feel good that you guys can get back to, getting the ball to you, or you can be more effective? And if you're more effective, obviously the team's going to be more effective.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, once we get this next win under our belt, our confidence is going to be back to where it needs to be. But, it just doesn't take anything but a bunch of hard work throughout the days until the next game,
You guys are a young team, but Mike Anderson, he's been doing this a while, never had a losing record in his 17th season. How much can a veteran coach like Mike help guide you guys through a patch like this?
I mean, he can help a lot. I mean, he tells us not to let go of the rope. And, he just comes in every day, and he basically tells us the stuff that we need to do and the stuff that we aren't doing. And, I mean, he's just being a good coach. That's all I can say about that.
What have you seen from Missouri when you scout them, and then how critical a game is Wednesday night here?
Wednesday night game, it's a real big game because, I mean, we've lost, the last couple of games we've had at home. So, I mean, we got to protect home court. I mean, Missouri, as I've heard, they just got a big win. So we just got to come out and play basketball. We can't stoop down to that level. We just got to come out and play Arkansas basketball. We can't beat ourselves or shoot ourselves in the foot.
Jonte Porter, I don't know how well you got to know him, but he tore up his knee.
Live racing season. It all begins this weekend at Oaklawn. You don't want to miss any of the action. Gates open at 11 o'clock on Friday for the very first time for live racing in 2019. Post time on Friday. Special post time, 12:30 this Friday. This weekend's going to be full of fun stuff at Oaklawn. Saturday's post time is at 1 o'clock, 1:30 on Sundays. Saturday will be the legendary corned beef sandwiches, just 50 cents, and 10-cent soft drinks. So if you mark your calendars every year for the corned beef sandwiches, it's on Saturday for just 50 cents. And the thrill of thoroughbred racing is always available to you with the Oaklawn Anywhere app. All right, if you're an Arkansas resident, you can bet on races from all over the world with any smartphone, laptop, or tablet. And if you sign up now, get a $150 bonus when you sign up at Oaklawn Anywhere. It's online at oaklawnanywhere.com for more details. Live racing begins Friday. Gates open at 11. Post time is 12:30 this Friday at Oaklawn.
Let's go to the phone lines. Robbie is calling from Jacksonville, Florida. What's going on, Robbie?
What's going on, boys?
How you doing?
So debating a noon tea time, it's going to be about 75 today, and
what's the
I think
debate?
That's a lot more delightful than thinking about Arkansas basketball.
Yeah. So what's there to debate?
Whether
whether the tea time is 12 or 12:30?
Yeah, exactly.
Whether we want to have a turkey sandwich before we tee off, or what cocktail we'll have at the turn. What is the debate, Robbie? Please tell me.
Now, Tommy, you just got it going. I might even Uber to the golf course so that I can have a hottie toddy or two. I mean,
there you go.
You are a man of wisdom.
I'll tell you what.
He's been around.
Hang around. I'm not a rookie. All right, not a rookie.
But isn't that bad when that's what I'm thinking about when I think about Arkansas basketball right now? I think apathy and empathy have absolutely set in for a large chunk of the fan base. Here's the bottom line. We talked beginning of the season about net rankings and all that kind of stuff, about what we're going to need before the conference. Throw that out the window.
Yeah.
I mean, we're 1-4, and I never would think that a game against Missouri would be absolutely considered a must-win if we want to get this thing back on track.
Well, I mean, right now the debate is not the tournament, or the tournament. The question right now is, can you make the NIT?
It's the direction of the program. I mean, I look at this holistically, Tommy, from a standpoint of we got to start evaluating our program as a whole
yeah.
because there's no golden goose at the end of the tunnel with a Daniel Gafford, Bobby Portis. It's just not materializing. I mean, I listened to Mike Anderson's comments in multiple outlets and online about the type of team he has. He goes, "We're a fast team, we're a high energy team." Well, man, I'm not saying any of that. We can't get in the 70s in conference play. We get in the half court, we're absolutely getting destroyed in all facets. So,
I mean, if this current trend keeps up for this season, this team will not make the NIT.
Oh no.
I mean, the tournament's just tournament's not even
a free team.
Come on. Yeah.
It's going to be one of those teams where we're saying, how many wins are we actually going to get? I mean, I honestly think 6-12 basically might be a good adjusted SEC prediction, and that would put us right around 500. Because I assume we're going to lose at Tech. Maybe 15-16 going into, or I think we like 15-15, 15-16 going into the SEC tournament. Have to get 2 wins in order just to be above 500. I mean, it's bad when we're looking at that, but right now there's no easy wins I can tell you on the season. But the one thing is, guys, is that when you look at the bottom of the SEC, I mean, there's a story behind why all these teams are at the bottom. Yeah. And unfortunately, Arkansas doesn't have that story with a major player that went down with ACL injury like a Vanderbilt or Missouri. Right now it's just bad. It's just bad all over the place, and we're all hoping that it's going to get better.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people too, Robbie, are hoping, and I shouldn't say hoping. They're looking to find hope. Because you brought up the fact that you don't.
Hope is right.
Yeah, you're looking at what's going to be coming in the future, and obviously this season the NCAA tournament is out the window. But next year, once Daniel Gafford leaves, is this an NCAA tournament team? It's not. But you don't even have any big time recruits. What about the year after that? It doesn't look like there's anyone on the horizon. I mean, there's just nothing that you can point. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing you can point to, and that's where Razorback fans and their concern comes in and their frustrations, where it's like, hey, everyone has down years. You get it, but where's the turnaround? Where's the hope? Where's the things that we can invest in? And it's just not there right now.
Yeah, and the big thing is this isn't a referendum on Mike Anderson, the person. I think he's done a wonderful job for the program. He's been an awesome ambassador, and I love him and Marshida and what they all represent. The problem is that anyone who thinks this is 1994, 1995, and we're going to have some sort of resurrection of our basketball program with him at the helm needs to get their head examined because the style of play has changed, the rules have changed. Can't press, can't trap, can't put your hands all over everybody. It's just different, man. You got to play half-court offense, and you got to be really good at it.
Bingo.
To win in college basketball this year.
Bingo. And I had a text earlier, someone pointing out, Mike's Elite Eight run was under the old rules when you could pressure defense, you could put hands on people. That freedom of movement wasn't something being discussed in the game of basketball. The game, you just said it perfectly, the game has changed, and Mike's philosophies haven't fully embraced the new style of college basketball.
I called Tommy, like you, I called AAU and BCI for about a decade before I decided to get a day job, and I was tired of banging my knees up at night. And the big thing is that it used to be helter skelter when I used to call a lot of AAU state championship type games in the Little Rock and Fayetteville back in the in the late '90s, early 2000s, and it used to be helter skelter, get your hands all over everybody, and now it's like, man, you breathe on somebody in their cylinder, you're getting called.
That's right.
So it's an offensive game now, and he still talks about defense. I get it, man, but it can't be just about defense because your defense doesn't work in 2019 like it did, when you were assistant coach at Arkansas in the late 90s or in the 90s, and it's just different. And so if you're not willing to adapt, younger, more talented coaches are going to come along and they're going to take the position. I mean, and they're going to take their rightful place and at the helm of these big Division I programs, and that's where we're at, man. We need to look at our program as a whole, and how are we going to be better going in the next decade? We deserve better. We need better, or there will be empty seats at Bud Walton Arena consistently, night in, night out.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Robin. Empty seats consistently, night in, night out, like you just stated, are what get coaches fired at any school at any level.
Look at Brett Bielema. That's what got him quicker out than anything. It's just no one showing up to games.
When people quit, it's one thing to quit buying tickets. It's a whole other thing when you quit using tickets you're buying. Now, you can survive that for a little while. Eventually, empty seats, no butts in seats will get any coach fired at some point.
No.
It's just the way it is.
And if that happens the rest of the way,
that's not a rule, that's a law.
Yeah, look, it's just bad. It's going to be bad if that's the case. So, but I feel like Robbie, and we've had some other callers too, they all feel the same way. They got to have some hope, and there's just no hope right now. More of the Morning Rush and What's Your Beef Wednesday coming up in 2 minutes. Stay with us.
Who's down there? Poirier seemed like he's been there for 5 years. So they got some quality pieces. The transfer from Illinois, who's one of the top shooting three-point percentage-wise, I think, in our league. So they've got a collection of players that can shoot the basketball, and hopefully we won't let them shoot as much as they want to. We got to come out with a sense that, I always talk about that sense of urgency, but I think really from a defensive standpoint, come in and establishing the tempo we want.
They're the top 3-point shooting team in the league. What kind of pressure does that put on your perimeter defense? How big a key will that be Wednesday night?
I think what's got to be important, we got to be there on the shot. We got to be there when they catch it, when they catch the ball and ready to shoot, make them drivers and make them penetrate and be in rotation where we get out there. And they're going to make some shots. But at the same time, I like to see us, even as they make those shots, us get down the floor, get the tempo going to our liking, where it's up and down the floor, and utilize our bench.
And Daniel was talking about he's trying to be more of a vocal leader. How important can that be with a young team? Where you talked the other day about the confidence being kind of shattered. How can a guy like Daniel help his teammates regain their confidence?
Well, I think that's important. I mean, we had a function this morning, and it was good to see them out there with the kids. Martin Luther King celebration over at the Hyper. It was the Dreamers. I think it's called Dreamers, and our guys they all were there. And it's amazing how, them just being in that setting and just bonding, making it a great event for the kids that are there. And the guy that spearheaded most of it was Daniel out there on the floor. So I've seen him grown. Daniel, he's a young, and when you talk about in basketball terms, but just to see him step up and try to be that vocal leader, I think that says a lot about our team, and I think that's going to be important. The leadership, and that leadership's got to take place out there on the floor.
Obviously, there's a lot of pressure playing college basketball. How good is it to have the guys maybe hang out with some kids that aren't worried about who made a shot or who had a turnover, and just kind of be around kids that they just appreciate being around the guys and kind of childlike joy or whatever you want to call it?
I think it was cool. I'm looking at them guys out there on the floor, taking pictures with them, and these are kids in our area that don't get a chance to bond with our guys out there shooting basket. Can you imagine Daniel blocking your shot or you scoring on? I mean, I saw a couple of kids trying to dunk on Daniel, so they got a big kick out of that. So it was kind of neat to get away from it, the day-to-day grind, and but now we get ready to go to the grind. Have a good day. All right.
Y'all remember me? With John Neighbors.
Call Kenny Loggins because you're in the danger zone.
Tommy Kraft.
I thought that was one of the worst officiated games I've ever seen.
The Morning Rush starts right now.
2 hours down, 1 hour to go. Appreciate everybody listening in on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. John Neighbors, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, all in studio with you today. And thank you, as always, for making us a part of your morning this morning. Now, we're going to get into What's Your Beef Wednesday. And, of course, if you have anything that you're beefing with, be sure to call in 877-377-6963. Or you can tweet us at HitThatLineAR. Before we get into that, though, I just wanted to let everybody know the latest news. Arkansas had a decommitment in the recruiting trail coming out of Georgia. The 4-star defensive end Dante Walker. He has decommitted from Arkansas. Now, 4-star, 3-star, whatever. Doesn't matter. But what does matter is the fact that you lost another big-time recruit, a guy that had offers to Alabama and to Georgia. And it seems like, and I'm sure that if you just look at deduction and logic, it makes sense that losing John Scott probably had something to do with this decommitment. So just wanted to keep everybody updated.
Is he going to follow John Scott to South Carolina?
Yeah, he's got a visit up from Maryland, which I thought was interesting too. So we'll see how that plays out. But either way, Richard Davenport will be coming on tomorrow.
Well, that is where Taylor Edwards is at. Maybe there's...
Yeah, I mean, it could be something along that lines. I don't know why you would want to go to where the director of recruiting's going, but maybe he's got something to sell. I don't know. But
we sold you on a visit, I guess.
Yeah, we'd have to get into that too. So I mean,
Butch Jones is there now, folks.
No, remember he didn't go.
That's right.
Yeah,
he decided to stay.
Yeah, remember he's getting college credit now for his internship, so he decided to stay back there. So,
but he was going.
He was going. Yes, he was in. He was in the hunt,
and then he came back.
Yeah, he was rumored to be going, and it didn't happen. Do we need to get to Gary before we go to Butcher Beef, or does he have a beef? I feel like
listen. When Gary and Arkadelphia's on the call board, everything else
stands still.
Is put on hold.
That's right. Let's go to the phone lines. Gary's in Arkadelphia. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. I appreciate y'all taking my call.
I got 3 things I want to touch on real quick.
Okay.
Tommy, you can't go to the game tonight because it starts at 8, and I'm not trying to call you out. I just got a question. I know you went to Timberlake Thursday night.
Yeah. Yeah, I was there.
Oh, okay. Well, I know your priorities are in.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be John that wanted to go to Timberlake and has really been bummed out since he didn't get to go. Much like you would have been bummed out if you didn't get to go to Metallica. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. But you go to a lot of concerts, and I just want to ask, do you stay for the whole show, or do you, like some of these people, at 10 o'clock, it's time to go home?
I'm waiting for the triple encore, you know?
Oh, okay.
I want to get all my money's worth. I'm getting there early and I'm leaving late.
Okay, well, I don't understand that, but you're kind of like me.
And I'm not trying to beat. I'm not going to beat the traffic. I don't care about beating the traffic.
I hear you. Well, I would rather go to a concert than a sporting event, especially the Razorbacks, because I have never left a concert disappointed. Okay, you go to a Razorback game, chances are you're going to leave disappointed. I don't want to go anywhere I'm going to leave disappointed. So I was just curious if you've noticed people that always leave at 10 o'clock. I don't understand that, but anyway.
They get the babysitter off overtime, I guess. You know.
Well, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. On the pass interference the other night in the New Orleans game, and everybody's wanting the game replayed. You know, it's a simple fix. It won't change what happened Saturday or Sunday, but they could put this in for the Super Bowl. The CFL, Canadian Football League, they allow each head coach 1 penalty challenge per game. Okay, mainly to challenge pass interference calls. It works. They get it right, and it's all about getting it right. So if the Saints would have had a penalty challenge available, they could have challenged that call, and it would have been overturned and been called pass interference. We wouldn't have this discussion. So the NFL's created this problem. Everybody wants reviews, but yet we want to limit the reviews. But if they could, Tommy, you probably don't agree with that.
No, I don't disagree with you because I'm all about my only agenda is let's get it right. They didn't get it right the other night. They got it wrong. So let's get it right. But I just don't think this is a big problem. How many egregious, even in the regular season, week 6, 7, 8, how many egregious misses on a call like that do you see? You just don't see it. I mean, that's the most puzzling thing is how did this happen with one of your best officials in the league at that position with 2 people looking at it? How does this happen in a conference championship game? That's what I do not understand.
And that's why the coaches need to have a penalty challenge.
They're human. They made a human error, and it was a bad one. And,
that's true.
But this is not a big problem like, well, this happened in week 4 out in Seattle. It happened again in Cleveland in week 9. You know, this is a problem that really needs to be addressed. But I don't disagree with what you're saying. What would be the harm as long as you had language? It needs to be a clear and obvious miss.
Right.
To me, New York should have been able to step in and say, whoa. Wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. We need to have a flag on that plate. There needs to be a mechanism to where that can be that egregious and obvious of a wrong can be corrected.
But actually, CFL they don't use them every game, but they're nice to have.
Yeah.
And on Anderson, I know everybody wants talking about Anderson get fired this year or whatever. I think he needs 1 more year. I wish Nick was there. Y'all think I asked Nick tomorrow, how many of these freshmen are on this roster right now won't be on this roster next year? I think Anderson will be given 1 more year, and he's going to have to go out and get some JUCO players, maybe a graduate transfer to try to get this thing turned around. I don't see him getting fired, and I don't want to go to the NIT. We play basketball to go in the NCAA tournament, not the loser tournament. And if you're going to wind up in the NIT, I just think you stay at the house. But I don't see him getting fired this year. And everybody's saying, well, you ain't heard nothing out of Yurachek. Personally, I like Yurachek's approach better than Jeff Long. I mean, Jeff Long spent all day on all the radio and TV shows telling us how great everything was, and we all knew he was lying to us. So I'd rather not hear anything than to hear something that's not true. So, but I don't think he'll get fired this year. I think he'll be given 1 more year, and if he doesn't get it turned around next year, he's probably gone. But anyway, that's all I got, guys.
You really don't know. You really don't know where a guy's at with the program till his 9th year. Right? So I agree with you, Gary. So.
Yeah. Well. And here's the thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Stan Heath turn down the NIT 1 year? Like, seriously, I'm pretty sure he did. He said his team was tired or anything like that. But I agree with you. I mean, you're not playing to get into the NIT tournament. That's not what you're about.
It is a very kiss your sister kind of moment. But I'm telling you, this program right now, forget the NCAA tournament.
It's not happening unless just.
And I'm just telling you, the NIT right now, they're going to have to start playing some ball to make the NIT because just a winning record doesn't get you there anymore. This is going to be a league that gets, I'd say, 5 or 6 teams in the NCAA tournament. And then there's going to be 2, 3, maybe 4 other teams that might be just on the outside looking into the NCAA tournament. Are you going to be one of those teams? Or are you going to be one of the bottom 3 or 4? Because I think this is a league that will probably get 10, maybe 11 in postseason play of some kind. If you get 6 in the NCAA tournament, I could see 4 SEC teams. I mean, it's a field of 32. You're not going to get the rest of your league in the NIT, number one, even if all of them had winning records. And Arkansas is going to have to make a bid that they are one of the top 10 leagues in, or top 10 teams in this league this year.
They're going
to have to giddy up to do that.
They're going to have to win 10 more games, at least, to be an NIT team.
You think they're going to win 20 to get
to for sure get into the NIT?
Well, for sure, yeah. But I think like 18, 17, 18 win. I don't.
I guess it depends on who you beat too. I mean, if you're it depends on. There's a lot of things that it depends.
I'm just saying that there is no guarantee. I mean, the NIT is still something they're going to have to. You know, Mike likes to say, if you just keep playing, you're going to be in the hunt for something. They're going to have to play to get in the hunt for the NIT right now.
Yeah, and if you're leaning towards anything, I'm not feeling
so
that they're
that just
gives
gives me perspective on where you're really at right now. You're going to have to play your tails off to get to the NIT.
Mm-hmm. And one of the big thing too that everyone has always talked about with Mike is that he's never had a losing record, which he hasn't, and it is really impressive that the fact that he's in his entire coaching career, especially in the programs that he has taken over. He took over a terrible Missouri program and a terrible Arkansas program and has never had a losing season. He might be staring at one this year. They're sitting at 10-7. I mean, you're going to say that they have to win at least, I think it's 6 or 7 games to keep from having a below 500 record. And there's no guarantee of that because the SEC is a really much tougher conference. The way that Arkansas lost to Georgia Tech and Western Kentucky at home. Is there any SEC team you're playing at home that you're not sitting there a little concerned about winning right now? No. You lost to those teams. You can lose to anybody in this conference.
And just think, just a few weeks ago,
you
went on the road and you won at A&M. You think, they're off to the right. The perspective on where you were going to be because, man, we got these home games left, a good win on the road. I know it's not a great A&M team, and then, boom, you fall flat on your face a couple times in a row at home. And here you are. That's the thing that's been so surprising about all this is just the poor play at Bud Walton Arena.
Yep. 4 losses.
That's just
4. And you can
never thought I'd see the day.
And you can only make an argument that one of the teams was actually a good team, and that's LSU.
Yeah.
The rest of them are very average or below average, and it's just – and that's another thing, too, that just doesn't make sense. You're not winning at home. You know, my hot take – I know it's not Hot Take Monday or anything. My hot take. See, this is what happens when you build a practice facility. The winning record has gone down.
They need to be over there practicing in the arena?
That's right. Yeah. Demolish the practice facility because obviously that's being the cause for it.
It's those rims in the practice facility are so much different from Bud Walton Arena.
Yeah, maybe it's because they don't have the slobber hog on the court. I don't know.
Bring the goals over from the practice facility into Bud Walton and swap them out for tonight.
Yeah, and boom, there you go. You'll have your victory, so that's for sure. We'll move back What's Your Beef Wednesday. We'll do that around 8:35. So we'll move that back a little bit because it is a What's Your Beef Wednesday, and it is presented by the Fence Man.
Hey, if your existing fence needs replacement, now is a great time to get a new fence of any kind and save money with the Fence Man. For a limited time, all residential customers get a free tear-out of their existing, tired, worn-out, fallen-down fence. If you don't want to go out there and deal with taking the boards down, deal with prying nails out, and then they got to get a trailer, then they got to haul it off, take it to the dump, do all of these things. That's normally a $1,000 charge to get the Fence Man to take care of all that, and they're happy to do it. Right now, part of the winter fence sale, all residential customers get a free tear-out when you call right now and get the Fence Man to come replace your existing fence. 479-782-3936. Wherever you're listening, they'll come to you. 479-782-3936 for the Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
The most honest.
Was kind of shattered by the losing streak. Where do you think your all's confidence level is, and maybe how do you get it back up to where it was earlier in the season?
I mean, as you can see, our confidence level is pretty low right now because of the way we're playing. I mean, we're playing last game. We played with some fight, but we didn't play with that much fight that we needed. I mean, and our confidence level is going to get back up, but we just got to, come out and play the basketball that, we played at the beginning of the year and not this basketball that we've been playing.
You're still a young guy, but you're one of the older guys on the team. What sort of leadership role do you play to help the guys get their confidence back up?
I mean, I've become more of a vocal leader on the floor because, I used to be quiet all the time. I used to try to lead by example, but now I have to become more vocal because, some of the young guys, they kind of get down on themselves when they, make mistakes in the game. I mean, we can't just, feel bad for ourselves most of the time, especially during game time because, we need all our attention on the game and all our attention on executing plays down the stretch. And on defense, it's such things like that. And, I just, go up to them, give them a motivational talk or something to try to get them back in the game because, we need every single one of us.
Ole Miss was doubling, even triple teaming you. Just what can you do and what can your teammates do to get you open against defenses like that?
No, the main thing I could have did, I could have just, moved around more instead of trying to post up and have my back to the basket. I could have been setting screens, off the ball screens or ball screens for the guard. It's just that I was staying in one spot too much during the game, and I was crowding up the lane. And, other guys can do basically what they can do to get me open. They can screen for me. They can come off my screens, and I'll be open for that. Or, they can just move around and keep the paint, from being cluttered. And if I get the ball inside on the post, they can just cut to the basket, find the easy lane to the hoop, and just get an easy layup.
Is it frustrating you're not getting more shots? Like more games like what you did against LSU?
It's never frustrating because, every dog has a day, and Ole Miss wasn't my day. I got to come out and play every day, but it's just I couldn't find the flow of the game I wanted, and it just never came. And so I tried to do other things to help the team, like rebounding or blocking shots. Basically it.
Yeah, Daniel, the defense, I guess since the LSU game, what are the lapses that you're seeing, and how do you correct them?
It's just that we just got to protect, the inside. When teams get in on the inside, against us, it's automatic. And it's like we have no resistance on the inside, especially, with big guys like me. I'm supposed to be blocking shots and stuff. I need to step up my defense. For instance, like on ball, and especially ball screen defense, we need to, fix that also. There's a lot of things that we need to fix, and there's a lot of things that we know we need to fix, and it's going to be fixed. But it's just, it's a process.
Yeah, Daniel, I meant to ask you right before he did, but does it surprise you that you guys are giving up the most points per game in the league? Are you aware of that? And is it those factors you talked about that flow into that?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise us at all because, the type of defense that we've been playing the past couple of games, we just basically been giving people the game. We've been spotting them 10 to 12 points, and, we put them on the free throw line. We just, it's just we let them have it. We don't come out and we actually try to take it from them. We just let them have it. And we lie down and we just don't play the basketball that we've been practicing and working our tails off for. It's just that, we get in the game and we try to play it and then we get from that. And it just goes a whole different direction for us when that happens.
Daniel, one thing I know, a lot of times you get 2, 3, 4 shots a game off offensive boards. You were averaging 3 offensive rebounds going to Ole Miss, and their coach Kermit Davis said they did a great job of keeping you off the offensive boards. What were they doing, and how much did that contribute to you not getting more shots?
They was doing anything basically any other team has done to me. They made sure I didn't, attack the glass like I always did. And I didn't attack the glass like I usually do at all against Ole Miss. I didn't attack defensive glass like I needed to or offensive glass. It was a real off game for me. I don't know what it was. I was trying to get back to the flow of the game, but I just could never get there. I was trying to tell the guys to stay in it, and I'll do whatever it takes to, help them stay in the game. But, what they did, they just, were real physical with me, made sure I didn't get inside, pushed me out every time. They were sending at least 2 or 3 people to box me out. So.
And, there's a lot of season left. Do you feel good that you guys can get back to, getting the ball to you or you can be more effective? And if you're more effective, obviously the team's going to be more effective.
Yeah, I feel good about it. Once we get that once we get this next win under our belt, our confidence is going to be back to where it needs to be. But, it just doesn't take anything but a bunch of hard work throughout the days until the next game,
You guys are a young team, but Mike Anderson, he's been doing this a while, never had a losing record in his 17th season. How much can a veteran coach like Mike help guide you guys through a tough patch like this?
He can help a lot. He tells us not to let go of the rope. And, he just comes in every day and he basically tells us the stuff that we need to do and the stuff that we aren't doing. And, he's just being a good coach. That's all I can say about that.
What have you seen from Missouri when you scout them? And then
Interesting seating, spraying, or even construction equipment. It all ends March the 31st, so hurry in. Check out the savings during the Kick the Tires event at Williams Tractor in Fayetteville and in Berryville.
So I put out the question, and with the whole deal going on with the New Orleans Saints and the attorney that's filing a civil lawsuit in New Orleans on behalf of the Saints season ticket holders to make the right call and bring both teams back to replay the end of the game, which is really funny, and I don't think anything will happen from it, but the fact that the justice system is getting involved is really interesting, I think. And it's funny because I also asked the question to Razorback fans, just in general, that if you had an attorney that could file a civil lawsuit and have a game or a season or a play or whatever replayed because you felt like you were cheated by some type of third party that was involved, the amount of responses have been pretty funny because some of them I even forgot about. Of course, the most of them have said 2009 Florida. Arkansas, Florida, where Mark Curls and his staff felt like they got cheated in that game. 2012, Perry Costello in the College World Series against South Carolina. A lot of people felt like that was a pretty strong statement on how bad that screw job was as well. Some of them, though, I forgot. Like a lot of people are bringing up North Carolina basketball a couple years ago in the NCAA tournament.
That one wasn't as bad. You just don't like the call.
Yeah.
That one wasn't egregiously missed.
No. I didn't think so. But the 2011 Sugar Bowl?
The fact that they let the players play.
They
promised to come back and serve their suspension.
Mm-hmm.
If we could only just play in this one game.
Yeah.
You think about that game right there, and, think about the coaches that were on the field, Tressel, Petrino. You think about the futures, the paths. I've always been to the belief that Arkansas had won that Sugar Bowl. I don't care how many blondes were on the back of a motorcycle. Bobby Petrino would have remained head coach with a BCS win. So, a lot of things changed based on the outcome of that game.
Mm-hmm. It would have made the whole difference in the world.
Tressel with the emails and everything. Wasn't that the last game he coached? And Petrino coached one more year. So a lot of things pivoted off of that game and just the surroundings of that game.
It was so weird. And it didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, you're not suspended for the Sugar Bowl?
But you're suspended next year?
For 5 games? If you're suspended, you're suspended. You should suspend them right then.
Correct.
But that just shows you how the NCAA, it's crazy to think about, but the NCAA a lot of times does not do the right thing and does not make the right decisions. I know that's crazy.
Breaking news here.
Yeah. Well, another one that I think is something that maybe people forgot about is you remember the whole story with Sunday Adebayo. You remember him when the Razorback basketball team?
Sure.
Having to take on the NCAA and all of the problems that were coming along with it. A lot of people felt like if it wasn't for
Nola was angry about that.
Did you blame him?
No.
Because he was essentially kicked off of the roster, and he was a great player, and it was all because of the NCAA came sniffing around, and they were making claims and having allegations, and it came up, didn't find anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to think about how difference that would have been made if things would have been able to change. So, there's a lot of these things that have happened. Another one, and Tommy, I don't think you're old enough to remember. Maybe you are. But the 1982 SMU game and the bogus pass interference call that was made. Some people brought that one up.
Obviously heard the stories told about that, but no, I don't personally remember that.
Yeah. That's what's these old hats coming in, because then Joseph comes on and says the 1969 Texas game. I guess because in that game, he claims that the Texas player was out of bounds, or something like. I think I didn't watch that game.
The 69 shootout.
Yeah.
So, well, we all know about the 69 shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So
Horns, Hogs, and Nixon's coming, I think, is what the.
If Arkansas had won that game, that was such a pivotal moment, a fork in the road moment for our state.
Mm-hmm.
What we think about ourselves as a state, what we think about ourselves as a football. If Arkansas had won the 69 shootout, be a much different athletic department, I believe, even today even, close to 50 years. Well, I guess it is 50 years this year after the fact. Because Arkansas never really got over that.
Mm-mm.
For 50 years, we've lived in the shadow of that game.
Yeah. Well, and I think
because it's always brought up.
Yeah, and I think that
Arkansas wrote books and had documentaries done about a game they lost.
Yeah. And it's amazing if also you look at other things that they just would have changed. For instance, what if Arkansas would have won the national championship in '95 and beat UCLA? This is another thing. How did UCLA?
That's another pivotal one.
Yeah.
Because Nolan wouldn't have mattered what he said. Pay me my money, all that stuff would have mattered at that point.
Yeah.
I think I won back-to-back national titles.
Yeah. And, UCLA with Jim Herrick, we all knew the shadiness that were going on there, too. So that's another thing that maybe the NCAA could have stepped into. What if Bobby Petrino wins the Sugar Bowl? Well, how's that all change everything? I mean, the list goes on and on.
So you get this lawsuit to go forward. I don't know how you ever undo the damage that's already been done with that call. I don't know how this could be remedied.
No, I don't know either. More of the Morning Rush coming up.
When you drive a Toyota Tundra.
Wednesday night game, it's a real big game because, we've lost, the last couple of games we've had at home. So, we got to protect home court. Missouri, as I've heard, they just got a big win. So, we just got to come out and play basketball. We can't stoop down to that level. We just got to come out and play Arkansas basketball. We can't beat ourselves or shoot ourselves in the foot.
Jonte Porter, I don't know how well you got to know him, but he tore up his knee right before the season. How well do you know him? Just how tough is that to see another great player in the league that gets injured like that?
Yeah, I know Jonte a little bit. I don't know him that well, but it's just tough to see a good player go down like that. It's not every day that you get to come out and play basketball because you got guys that's not able to play. And for him to be in that position is, it's real tough on him. I'm already knowing because he wants to be out there with his team and play, the great game of basketball because everybody wants to play. Just like with our team, Khalil. Khalil wants to play as much as anybody on this team wants to play, but, he can't because of the medical conditions he's in. So
I understand you guys hung out with some kids today. How was that? And maybe being with some kids, can that help? Maybe is that good therapy when you're going through a tough patch? You get to hang out with some kids and have some fun and just kind of get back to basketball. And the kids don't really care if you win or lose. They're just happy to be around you guys,
Yeah, it was real good getting with the kids today. You get in, you get to see the smile on their faces and stuff, and, it just warms your heart because, you're coming in and doing a good thing with a bunch of kids that, don't see people like us every day. Like we come in, we play basketball with them. We go to the other court, play volleyball. We do all kind of stuff. We paint their faces and stuff like that. And, it just helps. Gets us out of that little slump that we're in.
I noticed you changed your profile pic on Twitter. I'm pretty hip with the social media scene. Just wonder what the deal was with that.
It was time for a change. That picture was up there for a while, the last one I had, so I just went on ahead and changed it. Nothing big about it. That's it.
And you were shooting pictures. Anything to that, or just you like the picture?
Yeah, I just like the picture. Nothing really big about it.
121 Towson Avenue, your #1 golf shop since 1994.
Do you own apartment complexes, condos, and rental property? Then you have made a great investment. Now make another great decision by calling Trinity Multifamily to help you maximize your return. Trinity Multifamily offers full-service property management, marketing, leasing, sales, and all the services to make your cash flow. Take the hassles and frustrations out of ownership and call Trinity Multifamily at 479-452-1817 or online at trinitymultifamily.com. Trinity Multifamily, your teammate in the real estate game.
ESPN 95.3. It's What's Your Beef Wednesday. Call or tweet the show and share what you're beefing with today. 877-377-6963. This is The Morning Rush.
Welcome back into the Morning Rush. It is a What's Your Beef Wednesday, which we are pushing back to about another 5 minutes from now because Gary in Arkadelphia called and he's worthy of his own segment. He's his own What's Your Beef Wednesday. That's what's great about having Gary in there. So continue to tweet at us, hit the line AR, or call in 877-377-6963, and we'll make sure to get your beefs and your frustrations vented here on the Morning Rush. But right now, let's go to the phone lines and welcome in Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources. Good morning, Larry.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hope you're having a good one. Everybody out there, folks, it's January, and we're off to a big start. Looking forward to a big year. And we know a lot of you folks are trying to get your year started off, and you want to do something different and better. And right now, you can drive better with a nicer, newer car from Rath Auto Resources. A lot of folks are waiting on their tax refund money, and there's some concern about when that money is going to be available with the shutdown and so forth. Folks, we can pull that money forward for you with our Tax Max program and get you driving now. Come in and talk to one of our friendly non-commissioned solution specialists. Let them show you how fun and easy it can be to get your nicer, newer car and start driving in the new year. Right now, resolve to drive better. The Meineke Car Care Center, they're going to take care of all of your maintenance and repair needs. Folks, you don't have to be a Rath Auto customer to use the Meineke Car Care Center. It's available for everybody. It's a great way for us to get to know you and for you to get to know us. Come in and let us take care of your next oil change. We have a $24.95 basic oil change every day. And we got tires, brakes, batteries, guaranteed to save you some money, some time, and some hassle in the Meineke Car Care Center. So come see us today, folks. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center. We're at 4515 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, the corner of Don Tyson and 71B in Springdale, or you can see us online at rathauto.com.
All right, 2 great locations to take care of you. Rath Auto Resources in Fort Smith and in Springdale. Larry, have a great middle of the week, and we'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, thank you, guys. Y'all have a good one. And folks, come and see us.
All right, there you have it. Larry Rath of Rath Auto Resources. It's funny, when earlier in the show we spent a whole segment talking about food.
Mm-hmm.
And
Our favorite topic.
Yeah, and it's been killing me because since that point in time, it's made me starving and more hungry than even before.
Are you that mentally weak?
Yes.
When
it comes to food,
the conversation of food can...
Yes. Because it's like when you're hungry in the mornings, it's one thing. Because it's like, hey, you're hungry, you just kind of put it, because you're used to that. But then when it's like you start to talk about the food, and you start to talk about the food that you really enjoy and that you're really craving, and you want to go get that food, but the problem is we have a radio show to do, so we can't. So we have to wait until the show's over, which has been like just going on and on and on. And so I'm sitting here, and it's just like I feel my stomach growling. I got the shakes. I mean, it's just I don't know what to do with myself right now.
Is your blood sugar running low?
I'm telling you, man.
What's the issue here?
I've been saying for a while we've been needing some type of little snack machine or something like that to try to hold me over. I don't know if it's complimentary protein bars that you should provide, Tommy. I mean,
complimentary protein?
I mean, what are we going to do here?
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Well, there you go. Ty just threw in Elevation bars, chocolate mint flavored. All right. Well, maybe I'll take one of these.
Tastes like Girl Scout cookies, I guess.
Maybe I'll take one of these, though. But I don't know, man. It's just something about it. You're on the Morning Rush. We get hungry, or at least I get hungry. And I keep trying to think of things to try to get it by with. I don't know. So because I got spoiled when we had the chili brat the other day because I at least got to eat that for lunch, which was fantastic.
But you wouldn't eat it for breakfast, no matter how hungry you were.
No, I wouldn't. It's just there's certain things. There's only certain things you can eat during certain times, and that's just one of them. I can't deal with it. I won't deal with it. I have to take a stand. That's the only thing. So, all right. Well, on the other side of the break, we are going to get into What's Your Beef Wednesday. We're going to give our beefs not only for today, but for the week. I'm sure we'll have some good ones, and it can be sports-related or non-sports related. So call in, 877-377-6963, or you can tweet us at HitThatLineAR, and we'll make sure that your frustrations, whatever your problems with, or whoever you're having your problems with, are aired here on The Morning Rush.
We're hungry to get to the next segment.
Yes, we are, Tom.
All right, there you go.
Yes, we are. More of The Morning Rush and What's Your Beef Wednesday coming up.
Not off to the start that we want to, but at the same time, there's a lot of basketball to be played, and I really believe this team will continue to get better. Playing against a Mizzou team that's probably is trying to get wins just like we are, and we've got to be able to defend the home court. They won a big game at A&M. And, of course, with Kunzo's team, they're going to come in. They're going to get after you defensively and rebound the basketball with Tillman inside. The Geist kid is playing better. Whereas our team, we need to get into we need to play a total good game. That's what I'm looking for our guys. I think we've been trying to win just with offense, and you can't just win with offense in our league. It's got to be a defensive effort as well. And so we've got to continue to get better in a lot of different areas. I think taking care of the basketball is going to be one of them. We've got to take care of the basketball. We've got to be able to defend. We talked about getting off to a good start, and we started the game off right off the game with the turnover, and you can't do that, especially on the road. But I look for our guys to come out and play with a much greater sense of urgency, playing against a Mizzou team that, obviously they border this. It's a border game where the states touch, so it's going to be a big game for us and a big game for them as well.
Mike Daniels just in here, and he was pretty humble and took a lot of blame for the loss the other day, said he needs to play better. What are you seeing from Daniel, and what kind of response do you expect from him?
Well, what you're seeing, and that's the thing with the inexperienced team, is that Daniel's getting a lot of attention, and rightfully so. I mean, he's played so well. And as that attention, 2 and 3 people around, our spacing hasn't been the greatest. If our spacing is good enough, then you're going to see those guys kind of be the recipients of some good passes for him. But they're coming at him. They're saying, hey, them other guys are going to have to beat you. And so our other guys are going to have to step up and make shots and finish off plays and take care of the basketball. I think he's giving us everything he can. But that's what happens, like I said, when you go from not being on the scouting report to the top of the scouting report. And so we know he can play a lot better. We had too many turnovers, I thought about.
Back into the Morning Rush on a What's Your Beef Wednesday, and it is presented by Sassy's. What a perfect What's Your Beef Wednesday sponsor. And if you're going to be in the Fayetteville area, you got to eat. We've been talking about food here on the station, and I think that the fact that it's going to be more torture for me to talk about the great food that Sassy's has, but I got to tell you about it, because how else are you going to know about their great selections that they have with their 2 locations in Fayetteville, off of College and off of Weddington. You can get great barbecue there, of course. They have that. They have brisket. They have pulled pork. They have smoked chicken. They have barbecue chicken. They have it all. But say you wanted to go with the burgers. They have fantastic burgers, award-winning smoked wings as well. With the Super Bowl coming up, it'd be a great place to watch the Super Bowl as well. Would be a great place to watch the Razorback basketball game tonight if you're not looking to go to Bud Walton Arena, but you still want to be in a great atmosphere with some great food, great drinks, and great company. Make sure it's at Sassy's Red House with their 2 locations in Fayetteville, off of College and off of Weddington. All right. So without further ado, unless Gary and Arkadelphia calls back in again, I guess we have Robert and Fort Smith. We'll get to Robert and Fort Smith real quick, and then we'll move on. What's going on, Robert?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Robert.
Real quick, you guys brought up some other games, but Omaha hadn't been real nice to us either. When Costello was behind the plate, we couldn't find a strike to save our lives.
That was one of the first games we brought up. Yeah.
Okay. If we would have made it to that game, I think maybe this last year's wouldn't have been such a bad all the way around. But I just wanted to bring that up and have a good one, guys.
And he was on the crew for this year. There was a concern he would be behind the plate for one of Arkansas's games.
Luckily, he didn't come into play.
He was just on the base path.
Yeah, there was no factor of him, so it was just it was a different call. Drop foul ball. It wasn't a call. It was bad. I don't think you could have a lawsuit in that one, though. You just dropped the ball.
You just dropped the ball.
So I don't think you can have it. All right, so without further ado, let's get into What's Your Beef Wednesday.
What is wrong with you? I want to complain. I'm complaining.
I want to complain about complaining.
I want to complain.
It really pisses me off today.
To simply listen to people whine and complain.
I'm angry. I'm spitting angry. I'm like a tornado of anger, swirling about. My heart rate is dangerously high right now.
I'm complaining because not enough people tickle, hug, or smile.
I'm so mad I could eat ball bearings and crap BBs.
It's time for What's Your Beef Wednesday.
All right, this is going to be my beef on this Wednesday. Obviously, if you listen to the show or if you know me, I try not to broadcast it and post stuff about it as much because I know how annoying that can be. But I am doing CrossFit, and it's tough. It comes in every morning, and I'm sore. I can't necessarily say I'm enjoying it, but I'm at least enjoying how I feel about it.
Did you hear that? He doesn't talk about it.
No.
Apparently he doesn't broadcast
All we ever hear is about how many lunges, pull-ups, sit-ups. What else is there that...
I don't say it on the show very often, though. So that's my point, is I'm not
Tommy
going to...
isn't old.
What?
Oh, what?
Tommy isn't old.
Tommy isn't old.
What does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Making true statements.
Okay, there
Tommy
you
isn't
go.
old.
Cut off his mic, Tommy. My beef, though, is that when by going to these CrossFit sessions, and there's amazing how many people are just dedicated to this whole thing and dedicated to fitness in general. There's people that go to the gym twice a day, and that's fine. But when I go to
Who are these sickos
I
that
know.
are going twice a day to the gym?
I know. And this has happened over time. I overhear conversations that people having, and they're talking about food, about their dieting plans and all that. And there was this girl that she's really into CrossFit, and she was discussing about her diet that's been for the past week because she said she really had to bounce back after having a really tough New Year's because she had a glass of wine and a thing of French fries. And
See,
so
when people say stuff like that, they're saying that for the attention.
I know, and so that's what I just like. Listen, you're really specific, and the fact that you think that is so ridiculous, and how you have to bounce back from a glass of wine and a thing of French fries.
Yeah.
Is not exactly.
There's this lady at where I work out. She was in there graphing the other day because she had gained 3 pounds since the first of the year. I'm like, I gained 3 pounds since lunch yesterday. What are you talking about? Since the first of the year, you're an
3 pounds
underachiever.
sitting here. I mean, yeah, but that's
These
my beef.
people that weigh like 120
Yes.
have like no body fat and want to complain about their weight. Just shut up.
I know. I get sick of it. And it's like, listen, I know my genetics. My dad's a big guy. He's been big my whole life. And if you've seen my dad, I'm built like him. And I've struggled with my weight my whole life, and I'm going to for the rest of my life. I've accepted it. But I'm trying to do things to be better for it. But when I go through these, though, and I see these people talking about the food and the dieting and all that stuff, it just makes me wonder, listen, I'm all about if you want to be fit, if you want to be dedicated, if you want to have abs and all that, power to you. But I'm sorry, you cannot convince me ever that having abs or having that body is worth giving up the great foods that God has put on this planet, like pizza or hamburgers or
Carbs.
fried chicken.
Any carbs.
Just like, you can't tell me that it's worth it.
French fries.
Because here's the thing, I'm not trying to get an 8-pack. I'm just trying to get in better shape. I'm not. Because you know why? I like to eat and I like to have good food. And unless you just take out everything and eat nothing but flaxseed and avocado oil, it's just not going to be the same, and you're not going to be able to ever get to that point, and I'm fine with that. But these people that are with it, again, power to you, but don't try to convince me that that's worth giving up great food. I'm sorry, you can't do it.
I've got a 12-pack. It's just covered in pudding is the problem.
Yeah, it's in the back of your truck.
Right.
Trunk is where it's at. So, I mean, but again, for it, all for it, but I like food too much. I think we all like food too much.
Right.
And the last thing I want to do is when I'm 78 years old and I'm still on this earth, hopefully, Lord willing, I'm still on this earth, that I ever look back and be like, you know what, I'm so glad that I didn't eat more ice cream because I feel great right now. No, I want to eat. I want to enjoy life. Yeah. And if that means having an extra side of dressing or a little thing of mashed potatoes or mac and cheese.
Ranch dressing with your pizza. Yeah.
That's right. It's all worth it. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go all out.
Amen.
That's my beef.
Amen.
For today. What do you got?
Tired of all the anonymous phone calls that are from your city.
That is annoying,
I've had it. I'm fed up. As Mom would say when I was a kid, I'm up to here with my phone ringing. I don't know the number. Now you're not answering calls you need to be answering. You get a 479 or a 501 call or an 870 call, and you're like, this could be a client, someone I need to talk to. No, you pick up the phone. It's Veronica from the credit card center. It's someone making a courtesy call. Hey, there's nothing wrong with your credit cards, but we just want to talk to you about, or I've won another cruise or a vacation. I am so sick of these calls, and now one day I got a call, and I think it was my number calling me. You get these too?
Yes, and I don't know. I don't know how to avoid
I've gotten
them.
on the do not call list and all. There's the class action lawsuit we need to get all this nonsense stopped. Forget building the wall. Let's get this stopped. This might be
This is worth the government shutdown right
here.
here.
Shut the government down and figure this out.
I'm with you. I don't know why it is, but like, what makes it to that point?
Anybody else sick of this out there?
Oh, I'm sure they are. I don't know how you can't be.
I don't know where this Veronica woman is from the credit card center, but I'm tired of her. And you can block these numbers.
Doesn't matter.
All right, doesn't
Find
matter.
another one. See, I get credit card, but my main thing.
I get calls from Charlotte, North Carolina. I get calls from Oregon. I'm just going through my voicemail because you don't know whether to answer these calls or not. And I'm going to miss an important call from someone I need. It's going to be my kid's school, or it's going to be something important.
The numbers. Yeah.
And you don't trust the numbers because if you don't have it in your phone, you don't trust it anymore.
Yep.
And so it's a Fort Smith or a Fayetteville or a Little Rock number, and you answer the phone, and it's something stupid.
Yeah. And see, don't you remember the days, Tommy, when at least
unknown? That's the other one. An 866 number from an unknown.
See, that's another thing that I'm sure
Get
you
outta
remember,
here.
and I know that my family did, is we had a home phone, landline, for that reason. And then the cell phone's like, hey, let that one be all the people coming and calling you about some type of a special offer or whatnot. But the cell phones, don't worry, they can't get to that. They can't call the cell phone. Cell phone's private.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Everything's changed.
So
and I don't
sick of it.
I don't know how it happened.
I mean, it's
or what
worse than spam. At least spam's a quick delete. Boom, boom, boom.
Because before, too,
the
just like you
Nigerian
said,
prince needs to borrow my bank account. He'll leave behind $500,000. Yeah, right.
The amount of people that fall for that's kind of disturbing, too. But, before when it was an 800 number or whatever, you just not answer because there's nobody calling from an 800 number that you need to talk to. But since now that they've been able to.
Handled.
Come
on, Tom Cotton. Come on, Bozeman, where you at? Help us out.
I'm telling you, it infuriates
Representative Womack, where you at on this deal? Let's get this handled.
I just don't get it.
Phone security. We need phone security.
Get it. I'm just sick of it. I don't know. What can we do, though? Is there anything that can be done?
Who actually answers it? Okay, if you went through with it, maybe that's what I need, and I pressed 1. God help me. Then what? What is the end game here? I guess if you make 1 million calls and you get 1%, you get 10,000 people to answer over a month. I guess I
don't know. 10 men in suits come to your doorstep and throw rocks at you. I don't know.
They're going to dig up Ed McMahon and bring me, $1 million a year for the rest of my life. What's going to happen if I press 1?
See, it's so tempting though,
to speak to an agent.
Hey, when you hear
who is this agent?
When you hear the big boat whistle, and they're like, "You just want a cruise."
Yeah.
You got to admit, though, there's part of you where you're like, I'm kind of interested in how maybe I could win a cruise because I love cruises.
See,
be fun.
One of my answered the other day because I didn't know the number, so I answered, and she started going into this timeshare spill.
Jeez.
Hey, you've won. Hey, we're going to give you not one. Oh, no, Mr. Kraft. And I know when they call me Thomas, is Thomas Kraft there? I know it's garbage then. You've not won, but Thomas, you've won 2 trips. Not 1, but 2. And then she says, we just need you to attend a low-pressure, no-hassle, no whatever, 90-minute presentation. Timeshare deal. Mm-hmm. I said, well, darn. I was looking for a high-pressure presentation.
That's what you really want.
I said, if it can't be high-pressure,
you don't want it.
I'm out.
I
want someone to turn the screws on me. I want a high-pressure. And it caught her so off guard, she just started laughing. And I hung the phone up while she was laughing. She said, no one's ever said that. Click. I bet they've done this. Click.
Yeah, but they've hung up on you. But see, that's the scary thing is the reason they do it so much is because they know that it does work on people.
Yeah.
There's stupid dumbs out there that just go along with it.
Oh. It'll be a low-pressure timeshare presentation?
Folks.
Oh.
Folks, if anyone calls your cell phone and saying that you won some trip that you did not, apply for or anything like that, it's fake. That does not happen. There's not anyone that has a list of all the phone numbers in America and says, we want these people to win trips for free with no problems, no hassle.
Just makes you want. This is why if you ever won the lottery, you'd get rid of your phone.
Yes. Just get a burner.
Hire somebody to answer your phone.
And they can hang up
on you. So they can
on
talk to Veronica at the credit card center.
They can hang up on you. Ah, man.
Does Veronica call you? Because it seems like everyone I talk to about this very complaint.
Mine's more student loans, though, than credit cards. I get calls
they
about
all
my
call
student loan.
Veronica. Hey, and she's quick to point out there's nothing wrong with my current credit card account. But we need to talk about opportunities and options to lower your interest rate.
Okay. Mine's about getting my student loan interest rate lowered, which I say, hey, Student loan interest
I've had
rate
those.
is at 2.2%. I'm pretty good.
I've had those calls, and I've never had a student loan. Not one ever in my life.
Wow. 7.5 years of college, you kind of build up a little bit.
Well, when you got
of
a doctorate, you got a 7.5 years, you got your doctorate.
Dr.
Right?
Neighbors. Dr. Neighbors. I got my doctorate in broadcasting. They can get a doctor.
Can you? Probably.
It's on my business card. I'm a doctor. Is there an initial? It's not MD, but maybe a
PhD.
BD,
Are you a PhD?
Something like that.
7.5 years, you ought to be a PhD.
An RD, a radio doctor.
What'd you write your dissertation on?
Life. I wrote it on life. The best thing to write a dissertation.
You probably need to go
on.
talk to Veronica.
Yeah, I probably need to. Or there you have it. There's the What's Your Beef Wednesday. We got to take a commercial break into the final segment of the Morning Rush. Stay with us, folks.
Defense has not been good. They've just kind of been giving baskets. How do you guys fix that, and are you confident you can fix it?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can fix it. I think it's a matter of getting all the guys on the same page. You got to talk on defense. Our defense is geared toward putting pressure on people, and I think we've been just letting people run the offense. I really, really have. I think we kind of been playing on our heels, but we've got to be a little bit more aggressive. And, we got to be able to be in rotation. Some things penetration is going to take place. We got to be able to fix it. I mean, in the first half, they got like maybe 3 or 4 screen rows, and so the offside help. Where guys are hugging the mans on the offside. That's got to be a lot better, and we've been better throughout the year. So again, I just think it's a wake up call for our guys, because our defense again is what we got to hang our hats on, and then as your defense picks up, then I think it takes you to another level on offense as well.
I guess in your 8 years, you'd never lost more than 3 in a row. Just kind of, one, how do you handle it? And 2, how do you kind of convince a team they're not in like a free fall where it just keeps happening?
Well, I've talked about patience throughout this year, Nate, and even as we played in the Ole Miss game, we didn't shoot the ball well. And then, of course, now it just trickles down into your defensive side. I think there are some things that we're doing well. The bright spot in that game, you look at Keyshawn Embry coming off the bench. I thought he gave us some quality minutes. I thought Gabe gave us some really good minutes. And so now if you get some of those guys that are starting out to playing at the level they're capable of playing. I think we see Isaiah is really starting to – I think he's starting to play with that pop that you got to play with. And I think that's even with our team. We got to play with a little more pop, a little more energy. I think that's got to be – we're an energy team. And once that energy is injected from a defensive standpoint, then we're in attacking mode offensively as well.
You got a young team, but you're an experienced coach. I looked up, you actually had a 4-game losing streak at UAB. You guys went to the NCAA tournament your first year at Mizzou. You had a 4-game losing streak. You guys
I did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's on. And you guys won 18 games. You didn't go to the NIT or whatever, but you still won 18 games. So how can an experienced coach like yourself help navigate a young team through a rough patch like this?
I think you don't panic. I think that's the biggest key. You don't panic. And if they don't see you panic, they're going to be okay. I think what we do works. And we've seen that, early on. Now we just got to be able to put it together here, and nothing like some good winning will take care. But I think get in the gym and continue to work and continue to believe in each other. I think one thing about these guys continue to believe in one another, and we eventually go with a hump. We're becoming a team, and there's a learning curve. You're not going to see Mason Jones go 1 for 10. I mean, he was 1 for 10, and that's one of our leading scorers in conference play. So we got to have some more guys click on some of the cylinders that can help us offensively, and then defensively. I think we really got to dig into the trenches and become one of those teams that, you know what, if we don't score, then you don't score. I think that's what you got to have the mindset. Get stingy on it.
With Mizzou, they lost Jonte Porter before the season. How do you think they've adjusted to playing without him? And I know the family. Just kind of what are your thoughts on him, not being able to play this year?
Obviously, when it took place, obviously my thoughts and prayers were with him and his family. You think about Michael, Jonte, and a great family. But at the same time, I think Cuonzo, you got to play with the hand that you dealt with. And so, with that being said, you got to formulate and create that to be that team that you got this year. And I think he got some young guys that are pretty good, and very much like us. You know, they have Geis, who's running the show. You got Big Tillman, who's down there. Perrier seemed like he's been there for 5 years. So they got some quality pieces. The transfer from Illinois, who's one of the top shooting three-point percentage-wise, I think, in our league. So they've got a collection of players that can shoot the basketball, and hopefully we won't let them shoot as much as they want to. We got to come out with a sense that, I always talk about that sense of urgency, but I think really from a defensive standpoint, come in and establishing the tempo we want.
They're the top three-point shooting team in the league. What kind of pressure does that put on your perimeter defense? How big a key will that be Wednesday night?
I think what's got to be important, we got to be there on the shot. We got to be there when they catch it, when they catch the ball and ready to shoot, make them drivers and make them penetrate and be in rotation where we get out there. And they're going to make some shots. But at the same time, I like to see us, even as they make those shots, us get down the floor, get the tempo going to our liking, where it's up and down the floor, and utilize our bench.
And Daniel was talking about he's trying to be more of a vocal leader. How important can that be with a young team? Where you talked the other day about the confidence being kind of shattered. How can a guy like Daniel help his teammates regain their confidence?
Well, I think that's important. I mean, we had a function this morning, and it was good to see them out there with the kids. Martin Luther King celebration over at the Hyper. It was the Dreamers. I think it's called Dreamers, and our guys they all were there. And it's amazing how, them just being in that setting and just bonding, making it a great event for the kids that are there. And the guy that spearheaded most of it was
for 6 minutes.
You've been going on about your hunger for
it's the Hunger Games.
30 minutes.
Man. It's the Hunger Games. I'm hungry.
It's the Hunger Show.
Yeah, it's the Hunger Show. Because I mean, seriously, and we joked
Ty
about.
I gave you some protein bars over here for you to enjoy.
Yeah, but that doesn't have
beggars can't be choosy.
But it's not wrapped in bacon. I can't eat that this morning.
That would be protein.
I mean, it's all about protein here. But and I'm serious. We talked a little bit about it and joked about it. I'm serious. If I was not doing a radio show, I would love to do something in food.
Yeah,
like what Guy Fieri does.
That'd be awesome.
Could you imagine that job, Dick? Just where it's like, okay, all we need you to do is go and eat.
Here's what we need
things.
to do. This could be a joint project here. You know how Chuck Dovish does the Traveling Arkansas show on AETN?
Yes.
We need to do something like that where we travel and just see all the great restaurants in Arkansas.
Yeah. Well, I thought about, because the way my mind was working, I was thinking about wanting to do something
Taste of the natural state.
Yeah, like a Diners, Drives, and Dives.
We need to workshop this. We could just go around the state, you know.
Call it Game Day Grub or something. I don't know. But yeah. And that way we can go and say, hey, let's feature your restaurant. We'll eat your food. We'll promote it.
We ain't paying. But.
I mean, we ain't paying, but we'll promote it. And then everybody wins. Where we can just go and eat stuff. See, we're
so if you're listening out there at AETN, we got a great idea. Somebody will steal this before we can. It's probably already been done. We don't even realize it. But.
No. We put on Netflix. I'm sure people will watch that.
Yeah.
Netflix. I think people watch that still.
Never trust a skinny cook. So that's the other thing.
I've always said that.
So don't trust skinny guys on these Food Network shows.
So I guess I got to stop doing CrossFit if I want to do this. Start just getting fat. Because that's the thing is what I forgot the guy's name. The guy that did Man vs. Food.
Adam Richman.
Yeah. He ain't no skinny guy. So you
he is now.
Well, he is now, but during the show in its prime, he wasn't. So you trust him. You're like, hey, this guy knows. I'm going to take this guy. But, man, that was a great show.
Yeah, when his cholesterol got to 1,100, they made him stop. You know?
Yeah. Maybe that should have been like a would you rather thing. I mean, if you got stuck watching one network for the rest of your life, would you rather watch ESPN or would you rather watch the Food Network?
Oh.
Because I don't care what's on the Food Network. I told you, man. They had a competition of who could make the best gingerbread houses, and I was all in.
Yeah.
I was sitting there. I have never made a gingerbread house. For sure not going to eat one.
I know my wife watches that stuff all the time.
It hooks you, man. I don't know what it is. It's like food porn. I don't know. It just
That's
gets
exactly
you going.
What it is.
It gets you just you're sucked in.
And the next thing you know, you're not hungry at all, but you're in there,
yeah, you're
whipping up a meal in the kitchen.
It's like you watch a few episodes, and you're like, and you start thinking you're Guy Fieri, and you're like, oh, I'm going to go get me all these different exotic ingredients.
Just watching it makes you hungry, though.
I know.
It's the problem.
And you start craving it more. It's just, it's a bad deal. Yeah. It's a bad deal for your metabolism, but man, it is so much fun to watch. So who knows? Maybe here on the Morning Rush, we'll put something together. Be food related.
Never thought a Capri salad with goat cheese could taste so good.
Exactly.
A what?
Cream fraiche.
No ranch dressing?
Whatever that is. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe we'll put it in the works. Maybe we can figure out. Well, appreciate everybody listening in today. For Tommy Kraft and Ty Richardson, I am Neighbors. Same